Meet Pedro Acosta, one of the most exciting young talents in motorcycle racing today. A rider who arrived in MotoGP carrying expectations few riders have ever faced. But those expectations didn't appear overnight. They were earned.
All the good guys were at the front, and you just make pass after pass and then make history.
The good thing that in my days, minimum for me, Moto3 was so easy to pass people.
When you put in performances like Pedro Acosta did coming through the ranks, expectations rise quickly. Because riders aren't supposed to start from pit lane and win. Pedro Acosta did. And from that moment, the world of motorcycle racing knew his name.
I'm not here because I want to win. In several stages, I just want to show to myself that I'm not the problem, let's say.
When Pedro arrived in MotoGP, it didn't take long for people to take notice, racing at the front and battling proven race winners, and showing flashes of the talent that had made him one of the sport's most talked about prospects. Before long, comparisons to Marc Marquez began to surface, and so did the expectations that Pedro Acosta could one day become a MotoGP world champion.
You've been compared to Marc.
Yeah.
Does that stop being a compliment and start being pressure?
Never, to be honest. I don't want to be compete Marc, because Marc at the moment is here. I will need to take my time to be where he is, and we never know if we will get there.
As Pedro's profile has grown, so has his connection with fans, by showing a version of himself that often gets lost when athletes reach this level of stardom. Because long before the MotoGP paddock, there was simply a kid who loved motorcycles. That part hasn't changed.
I hope to, in my career, really show to everyone the real person that I am.
Gypsy Gang, welcome Pedro Acosta to the podcast. The Shark. Pretty stoked for this. I feel like Pedro is one of the more old school, new school riders in MotoGP, so this is going to end the first week of our Stark Studios podcast sessions.
What's up, dude? Pumped, to be honest. Quite excited. Long time from my last podcast for this. Let's see what is going on. Let's see how is my English today.
You got 3 hours in you?
Yeah. Let's see. How are you, buddy?
What's going on, brother?
Really good.
How are you?
Not bad.
Pedro Acosta. This is one of the GOATs, the future GOATs. I can see it now. This dude's next up, so this is cool. The talent in MotoGP is insane, and stoked to have a couple of the big boys on the pod this week. I cannot stand over-the-top YouTubers that start every single video with like, subscribe, smash that like button. I never, ever wanted to be that guy. But in the 7 years that I've been doing this, I would see over and over and over the comments that say, man, how does this channel not have more subscribers? And on the Jet Lawrence podcast, I finally caved. And I asked the Gypsy Gang to check to see if they were subscribed, because we have the data and we know that 70% of the people that watch this podcast regularly aren't subscribed. And I was really interested to see what would happen if I just straight up asked you at the start of an episode. Well, it turns out exactly 4,100 people subscribed to the podcast off that one episode alone, and 7,000 people subscribed last month. So thank you very much. And subscribing to the podcast is something that you can do completely for free, but it actually has a pretty massive follow-on effect with everything that we do. That number is in every presentation that we give to sponsors. It's in every presentation that we give to guests that we're trying to get on the pod, and a whole lot more. Those 7,000 subscribers that we got last month finally pushed us over the 100K mark on this full show channel, taking us well over 350,000 subscribers on YouTube in total. So if you still don't know whether or not you're subscribed, double check now, and thank you so much for watching.
I met a gypsy.
Ready?
Yeah. Pedro Acosta.
We're doing it, bro.
How's it going?
Dude, I've been stoked for this, eh? I'm a big fan.
Thank you.
Been a big fan for a long time. I think you're one of, obviously a lot of people have said the same thing, but you've just been one of the craziest talents to come through the ranks in a long time. It's cool, man. And I feel like you've also one of the guys that's got the most raw personality on the grid as well.
Yeah, sometimes this is good and sometimes this is really bad. But I mean, sometimes to be professional, you have to also show to the people what guy you are, you know, because if not, sometimes how close you can be to the spectator, I think it's better that minimum they see how you are, let's say.
Yeah, 100%. But it's so hard to do because even what you just said before, right? It's so hard because you make a joke and you're funny and you're trying to just be not serious because nobody in their life is 100% serious every second of every day. And then you make one comment and then people start taking it out of context and it makes you kind of like afraid to be yourself. But I mean, I love the personality. Like there's no joke that you could make where I would be pissed off at what you said, you know? So it's such a fine balance to walk, but people do love you as a racer for your talent and the way that you express yourself on the bike, but they also like that you give people like the real shit.
I try, you know, at the end, you know how hard it is to be in this job for maybe 15 years, let's cross the finger to have a long career.
Yes.
But it's so difficult to don't be a real person in all this time, you know, for this. I think it's better that even have less fans or call however you want, but minimum that the people that want to follow you, they really know who you are, you know. At the end, like you say, it's quite easy in this moment and how social media work and how people just try to take the title, let's say. It's quite easy that something go wrong, you know, but you cannot make happy to everyone, you know?
Yeah, and what you said just then is so true because if you want to do this for 15 years and you just have to fake your personality for 15 years.
This is so difficult.
That sucks.
Yeah.
It's difficult and it's also not fun because why did we get into dirt bikes? Why did we get into racing?
I mean, it's no reason to make it like that, you know, at the end. You know, first of all, how difficult it is to race. Then how difficult it is to manage how you feel during a day because every day is not your day. Every day don't go everything like expected. And this is so difficult sometimes to like turn everything around and just talk to the camera, you know, for this. I mean, I think people should understand that not every day is our day. Not every day you just will smile because at the end of the day, okay, this is a job, but first of all, it's our passion for this. Sometimes it's quite difficult to separate things and be professional in one way and don't let your emotion go away.
And what you said is right because it is a job. And sometimes, I mean, I love this. I'm sitting here with a world champion, one of my favorite riders, and this part is great. And I'm sure that when there's testing and the bike feels great or when you're leading a race or when you're doing a quali lap, that bit of being a MotoGP rider is sick. And then there's some stuff about being a MotoGP rider that is dog shit. And there's parts about this job that are dog shit. Yeah. So it's like when when I ride, it's pretty much just for fun. And people have this image that you're a racer, this is your dream, this is fun. But as soon as something turns into a real job, there's going to be a whole lot of stuff that sucks.
Yeah, for me, everything is so funny. Everything in life is so funny until you become professional in something, you know? It's like, I don't know, myself making motocross, you know? I mean, I'm just a guy that, for sure, I'm maybe 30 or 40 seconds slower than somebody that can ride really good, you know? But I just have fun whole day. In other hand, I go to train in my road bike, and everything is so serious, buddy. So serious for this. At the end of the day, it's a job. I mean, you have the teams call you just for perform. If you don't perform, you're out for this. Sometimes it's also good to have some fun in front of the cameras.
Yeah. So speaking of a fun weekend and fun racing. How was Barcelona?
10% funny things, 90% not so funny, you know. At the end, my best weekend so far. Really competitive, performing so well. Also in a track that is not matching so well my riding style, let's say. And everything was so good until lap 12, let's say. Then was everything a mess, you know, because it's not easy to see a crash like it was with Alex from the outside, but it's even worse being involved, you know, for this. Yeah, not the funniest weekend, let's say.
So let's go through the weekend. It starts off great. And so when I spoke to Jack and he talked about the KTM, he said that the bike almost has too much mechanical grip sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's and you could see the flex and you can see the torque on the swing arm and the chassis. And then Barcelona is a famously slippery circuit. So it seemed like you guys had a pretty good setup because maybe sometimes you have too much grip, and then when all the other manufacturers are maybe struggling for a little bit of grip, the KTM starts working well. So, I mean, you guys were lighting it up for the majority of the weekend.
Yeah, it's quite difficult to understand even for us, you know, because normally when we have a lot of grip on track, we don't perform. I mean, we struggle a lot. Like in Jerez, I was coming from being the podium in Austin to be close to don't be inside the top 10, you know. For this was everything matched quite easy this weekend. Also, I remember to arrive in the FP1 after 10 laps and say to the guys, look, I don't know what you do in the bike, but the chassis is matching that good today that we only need to focus in electronic side, you know. And it's basically what we do during all the weekend. It's true that somehow when you have really low grip, every manufacturer go closer. It's true that we are still some step behind Aprilia and Ducati at the moment. This is clear, but somehow everything matched, you know, because you can see Brad was also inside the top 3 on Friday, and I was really close to being Q2 also. I was P1, and even in qualifying, that normally I struggle a lot on Saturdays, everything make like a click, you know, and everything come for this was quite, even for me, quite difficult to understand.
So do you think that it comes down to just the natural characteristic of the KTM that you have this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's true that the bike improved a lot. We have much more turn in the last year, and this is helping also to have the grip more or less under control. But it's true also that I feel that the bike is in a really tough moment, let's say, because the feeling is like we are in a mountain, you know. When you are really in the peak, everything is quite okay. You don't have to change many things, but it's quite easy to go over or under the limit, you know, because it's quite difficult to understand even for us. For this is our biggest problem at the moment, let's say. Try to find a way to be always in this margin and in this peak.
Yeah, so you'll hear a lot of Supercross racers say that they want to get a base setting that is just in the window.
Yeah.
And it's like no matter what track you go to, no matter what conditions, you're always within a couple of clickers. And I mean, these Supercross guys, they're not really changing so much every weekend like you guys are.
Yep.
I mean, there's a process that you go through every single week that is crazy with how much you have to dial in your motorcycle. But you look at Ken Roxon this year, there would be times where he says he hasn't even touched a clicker for 12 months on his motorcycle because the window that they got to make that bike operate was so wide. So the KTM can work so well, but the window's tiny.
Exactly.
Is that where it kind of is?
Exactly. I mean, even I was the last 2 years more or less with the same setup. You know, we change a bit from track to track, a bit the higher, we make higher, lower, but not that much, you know. It's true that this winter we changed more or less whole bike, I will say, and we changed also the base setup, but from Thailand to here, I don't change nothing, you know. I was just working in electronic or tire pressure, all these kind of things, depend how far we were. But, you know, even for us, it's tough to understand, you know, because normally when you struggle in, I don't know, fast corner, you try to modify the bike for that kind of condition, you know. But at the moment, even if we go right or left, we go always in becoming worse, you know, for this. I think now we arrived to a base setup that more or less work. And it's just a matter that I try to be slightly better here, slightly better there, and try to close the distance, let's say.
So why did you guys have to change the bike so much this year if you kept a similar setting for the last 2 years?
I mean, the last year bike and 24 was quite critical for the tires, let's say. I mean, MotoGP arrived. I mean, we are in a moment of the championship of the class that the machine, let's say, every time is more important, let's say. We can see that last year, Aprilia at the end of the season, and this season make a really big step. And now you can see that the 4 riders of Aprilia are always in the top 10, you know, and this make everything much easier, let's say. For this, I remember the last year I arrived to KTM and say, boys, I need something for the tires because it's ridiculous that I can be around mid-race in the top 3, let's say, and then I start to lose half second in a lap. This is a lot in MotoGP, let's say. I remember Phillip Island that I was second and I was from one lap to the other fighting for be 7th, you know. This is huge, and even when you are trying to fight for a world championship, that this finally is the target, let's say.
Yeah.
And at the end, we tried to match all the comments between me and the other 3 riders, and it's true that they make a really good chassis. At the moment, I think the best that I try in MotoGP. Aerodynamics also changed a lot for this. The bike looks more competitive, but this, as always, I mean, we are much faster than last year, but also the competitors are more fast. For this, looks like we don't change so much, but you see the real numbers and we change a lot for this. Sometimes compete is not that easy. I mean, the level of competition versus how much you improve, sometimes it's not equal, let's say.
Yeah, because the other boys, so let's say Aprilia didn't change their bike at all for the end of the season, and the KTM is probably better even than the Aprilia, but because everybody else keeps getting better and better, it looks like you guys haven't really gone anywhere.
Exactly. I mean, our step, I told to you, from the first time I jumped in a MotoGP, the step is huge. I mean, I remember my first MotoGP test, Valencia 23.
Yeah.
I was still with a steel chassis, was not the carbon one and everything. And the bike now, I have to say, really changed at all. And the bike is much faster. But the problem that the other guys improve a lot for this. The efforts versus the result is not, like I say, it's not equal, you know, for this. Sometimes it's what make it this everything even harder to say if we improve or not. Because at the end, the final result is what counts at the end of the day.
And the target's always moving.
Yeah.
So it's like you can shoot a good arrow, but if the target moves, then you don't hit the target.
Yeah.
Dude, there's a really cool video on YouTube of your first test in Valencia. And dude, the reaction of you when you first come off from the first session, you're like, wow. Like you could see the excitement and how much fun it was for you to finally be on a MotoGP bike.
Yeah, I mean, this day was awesome. Also, I remember that arrived one moment that Moto2 was becoming boring for me. Not just because competition was quite high. I mean, I was battling every weekend with a different rider, and this was funny. But let's say the bike by himself, me making laps around when I was taking a gap was quite boring at all, you know, for this. When I jumped in a MotoGP bike, I was having a 1000cc bike for train. And for me, this already was feeling fast, let's say, much faster than the Moto2 bike. But somehow when I am in a MotoGP, and I remember that the first run that I did, the guy say, okay, don't try to use the device, just ride, try to understand the brakes, the tires and everything, and then we talk. I go out, and I remember the first time I go 100%, man, I mean, this bike was a rocket. I mean, it was even difficult for me to understand how fast I was able to use the gears compared to a Moto2 bike, you know? And arrived one moment that maybe in the lap 4, 5, I was completely dead. I mean, I was not able to do more laps. And also arrived one moment that I was like saturated, you know? Was many things in my head that even I was not able to understand, you know? For this, then I stopped in the box and was like, boom, you know? I mean, it's even now today that, okay, I go in 1000cc for train and feel slow. I go on maybe on February when we go to the official testing in Malaysia, and the first lap is awesome, buddy.
Yeah, dude, it was just such a genuine reaction. You know, you just get you get used to Like you look at Marc, the first test, business as usual, done 1 million laps on a MotoGP bike. All the other guys, it's just like business, business, business. And you were literally a kid. And it was like a kid that got led into the candy store and said, you can eat whatever you want.
I mean, it was awesome. I mean, I remember I was also for 3 seasons in the same team in Moto3 and Moto2. And this was, I arrived in the championship when I was 16 and go away this thing when I was 19.
Yes.
You know, I was literally growing up with these guys and jamming a different class with a different completely team. I mean, I was really alone, you know. And see how much the brand and everything was on top of me, you know, to try to let me understand everything fast. This day make me so happy. It's true that, okay, then things come easier or difficult or whatever, but was like really cool, you know, to see that a brand was really on top of you.
And there's just some iconic videos of you just sliding out of turns, and even the commentators on the videos are just like, well, didn't take Pedro long.
Yeah, I mean, it's true that I think I have more advantage than somebody else in his first time in a MotoGP bike, because I was riding 1000cc bikes since I was 14, you know, since I was literally not in the World Championship, you know, for this. I always have the feeling that when I was going to jump in a bigger classes, was going to be easier, you know. Looks like was like this, because Moto3, when I started Moto3 in the lower championship, I was struggling much more to understand the bikes and the physics and everything. And since the day that I am in a MotoGP was like everything matched, you know, this is my bike again, you know, for this. It's true that, okay, then I'm struggling to get all the things in the championship, but the first days was quite nice.
Yeah, dude, that must just be a cool moment. And you worked your whole life to get there.
Yeah, I mean, it's true that my career have many up and downs, let's say, because I arrived really a big moment that I was really close to don't be able to ride anymore because was not any more money in the family. And I remember when we say, okay, look, it's no more chances. We send the, let's say, the papers for joining the Red Bull Rookies Cup Selection event in the last day that we were available, let's say. And thankfully to them, I saved my career, because if not, I told you, was not any more chances.
Dude, yeah, that is crazy. For a lot of us, motorcycles are a way of life, and few brands have done a better job of bridging the gap between riding and everyday life than Quadlock. Whether you're heading to work, meeting up with friends, planning your next adventure, or competing at the highest level of motorcycle racing like Pedro Acosta, having gear you can trust makes all the difference. And that's why riders like Pedro Acosta and myself trust Quadlock. Quadlock has built an ecosystem of products that make life easier, whether I'm working in the office, hitting the road to record our next podcast, or heading off on my next adventure ride. Lately, I've been using the handlebar mount alongside the new action cam mount, which has made filming rides easier than ever. The simple quarter-turn system makes it quick to install and remove your camera, whether you're filming content, documenting a trip, or you just want an easy way to capture every ride. And of course, Quadlock's phone mounts have become a staple on all of my bikes. I've put them to the test on adventure rides all over the world, including a trip through Vietnam where I crashed the bike and my phone stayed securely locked in place. And if you're riding regularly, the vibration dampener is a must-have to help protect your phone's camera from harmful vibrations. Head to quadlockcase.com to find the setup that's right for you and use the code GYPSYGANG for 10% off your purchase. When you do the first day on the bike, that's obviously the fastest you've ever gone on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Does it, even though you're incredibly talented and your brain is kind of more equipped to going fast than, let's say, if I did that, is it still a shock? And do your eyes still have to adjust? Because that whole conversation of eye speed and processing speed is so interesting to me because I'm fucking slow. But like Jet Lawrence, right?
Yeah.
Everyone will say that Jet has like crazy eye speed, looks ahead super far, and it just feels like things are coming at him slow. And you can see that when he rides.
For me, arrive, I mean, we are in much more high speed compared Supercross guys, let's say.
Yeah.
And I think arrive one exactly number, let's say, that you start to don't feel the speed anymore, you know? It's around, I mean, I think when you pass the 240, you start to don't feel any more the speed, you know, because...
It's all the same.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
240 and 360, same shit.
same shit. Yeah. Let's say it's so difficult when you start to brake, you know, because at the end, thankfully, we have really good brakes. But the first time that you go in Mugello, maybe that you arrive the first time ever in 360, was even difficult to make the first corner, you know, because everything start to move quite fast. Even the head start to move and you are not really able to be focusing where you are going, you know. But around one moment that the speed more or less is the same. It's more the things that you have to do in the bike, you know, because it was my first day also with rear devices and mappings and all these things. And I remember that also my first day in the class, I crashes in Turn 2 in Valencia.
Yeah.
Just because I have no more time to do things in the bike and I just arrive there and fall down, you know.
So what does that feel like? So you're supposed to change a setting to make the bike stop or turn, and you didn't do it, and then it's gone?
No, I mean, you know, in the HUDs at the moment, MotoGP is that difficult because we have to manage many things that in 10 years ago, let's say. We have the rear devices. The problem of that in Moto2 you don't have nothing.
No.
I mean, in Moto2, in my days, was from lap 1 to 24, flat out, as fast as you can, and finish the race. That's it, you know? And day one in MotoGP, okay, maybe not the first run, but in the second one, already the brand start to asking you to use the devices, to lock, to unlock, to change mapping for the tires, and are many things to get there, you know? And I remember, okay, normally at the end of the test, I'm not so fast because normally you are already tired. It's not necessary to crash at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And they say, okay, now time attack. I say, okay, we go for a time attack. And I feel that a huge change comparing medium tires to soft tires, that they're the things I start to go so fast, you know? And also, first day you don't know where are the buttons, where are nothing, and you need to look the hands to know where is everything, even in the middle of the breaking point for this. I just, let's say, lose the focus, let's say. But even I remember second day in Malaysia, the guys start to say, but why you are keeping looking your hands in the breaking point? And I say, boys, or you make all the button for me, and I have no idea where is the buttons.
And now you just go.
Now it's just flow, you know? You know where is everything, even if you don't have, I mean, the rear device we have in the thumb, even if you don't have time to press it, you just do with whole hand, you know, for this. Everything now is so automatic that now that this will go away from MotoGP class, it's like, damn, I was trying everything in 2 years for nothing.
Yeah. No, it kind of is like that. So how different, so when you're doing the Moto2, how much do the tires fade in those 20 laps?
0.
No way.
0. I mean, I remember this. I mean, in that day we were riding with Dunlop.
Yeah.
Buddy, from lap 1 to 24 is flat out. I mean, flat out. I remember that you normally make the fast lap at the end just because the fuel got down and the bike was lighter. You know?
Yeah.
But these tires, I remember making corners flat out, sliding, taking out smoke, let's say, and 0 degradation. This was huge. In MotoGP, it's completely the opposite.
Yeah.
If you already burn the tire at the beginning, means that you will not have at the end.
Yeah.
For this MotoGP is more a balance. Moto2 was, in my days, I repeat, in my days, was just going and everything you can.
Full send.
Yeah. This was cool.
That must have been fun.
Yeah, this was really cool. Even at beginning that I was really don't understanding the class in 22 in my first year, and I have to battle many times and make some passes, and the people was passing me back and everything. This was really cool.
Yeah.
I think it's Moto3. Moto3, you have 0 degradation in the tires in my days. And this was everything much more funny, let's say, because everyone have full set, 22 laps, that's it.
Yeah. So what does it feel like when the MotoGP tires start to go?
Not funny at all.
Like lap 12 this weekend.
Okay, maybe Barcelona is quite one of the toughest one.
Yeah.
Because already in lap 5, you start to spin and feeling that the bike is not moving forward, and the RPMs don't go up, and you start to lose resolution on throttle and everything. But it's true that on tracks like Phillip Island, arrive one moment in lap 12, that you have totally nothing. You already switch all your mappings to have less power and less traction control and make a match, and arrive one moment that is not a way to go faster, it's even worse. I mean, the bike is moving more, you are going more slow, and just the guys that are managing from beginning are the ones that are still making a normal lap times, let's say. The only good thing that the other guys are as fucked as you. For this, for this is no way,
Oh, dude. What a fucking nightmare.
Yeah. I mean, I arrive one moment that is just like a drift car, I mean, you arrive, for example, this weekend 10-3, third gear, 150 k per hour, touching the first touch, just going a slide until you put fourth gear at the end of this straight, and you never stop spinning.
No.
And the worst thing is not that you spin that much. It's that then in the next braking point, maybe the tire is in 200 degrees, and you also cannot brake.
And you're just braking on glue. Just a
I
gummy
mean,
little...
normally the front is quite okay,
Yeah.
but the rear just wanted to overtake the front, let's say.
Bro.
Totally
fuck
straight.
This
This is-
sounds terrible.
Yeah, this is not funny.
Oh.
The problem, I mean, if you are first, let's say, that is not many times, you more or less can manage, because at the end you have the rhythm of the race.
Yeah.
But the problem when you are second, trying to pass the first, and you go literally full link, totally sideways, and you have no way to stop the bike, and you are like, oh, just because you will kick it out the other guy, for
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
This is things that MotoGP are not cool at all.
Oh, dude. And I guess that's why you see so many crashes.
So many crashes, and sometimes you have already to roll off, because if you keep trying this, the end of the race will be much worse. For this, sometimes feel like you have to roll off, let the other guy win, and you just manage to finish second and don't finish fifth. You
Yeah.
know? For this, arrive one moment that is normal, and okay, it's not many tracks that happen this, but maybe around, if we have 22 races, this happen in 7th. Imagine Phillip Island when we arrive 360 in the main straight, you just take out one gear and you have other guy in front. In this case, it's not funny,
Dude, that's a scary first turn too.
Yeah. Phillip Island is the track that you need more balls around the championship.
Really?
Yeah. It's not other way to explain. To be fast in Phillip Island, you need a balls like this table. I mean, you are at 360, take out one gear, brake just a bit to take out the rear device.
One gear.
You put link and you go make, but exactly like from 0 to 100.
Fuck.
This is crazy, dude.
I've ridden there, and turn 1 is scary. Like every other turn on that track feels okay for someone like me, like an amateur.
Okay.
But I think that the fastest I went down that straight was about 301 or something. I was on a Ducati Panigale V4R.
Okay.
So that's about the fastest I went. And dude, I'm like boom, boom, into that first turn, dude, because it is so scary. The other turns feel normal-ish.
Okay.
That turn, fuck that turn.
For me, I will say 10-3.
Yeah.
The Casey Stone corner.
Yeah.
This is the worst one, in my opinion. I mean, you go 5th gear, but 5th gear is not another corner in the championship that you lean and you go in 5th gear, totally sideways, smoking the tire. This is, for me, the nicest and toughest corner in whole calendar.
Really? So it's the best, but also the hardest.
Yeah, I mean, Phillip Island, first of all, is the best track in the calendar. I mean, it's a shame that we will never come back, but it's one of these legendary tracks that cannot go away,
Yeah.
For this, in my opinion, is the best one at the moment.
Yeah, how do you feel about that track going away?
Sad, to be honest. I mean, like I say, it's the best track in whole calendar. If you just ask the 22 guys in the grid, will say this so close to this. Also the fans. I mean, the Aussies are incredible, buddy. Incredible. Doesn't matter if it's sunny, if it's windy, if it's raining. they will stay there because it's the magic of the Iceland, let's say. You know, for this is not the nicer thing that I hear this year.
Yeah, it is definitely a shame because when that place is perfect, it's perfect.
Being honest, if we go in this track on February, March, that is summer in Phillip Island, we will love it. Because our main problem in this track
is weather.
In the position of the rider is the weather, and that is super cold. You know, and sometimes even you crash in the outlap because you don't have time enough to warm up the tires, and you just make a stupid crash, let's say. But if we go there in summer, man, we will see the amazing races, even more than now.
Oh, and you'd probably smash the lap times.
Difficult to say, you know, because at the moment, in the last 7 years, MotoGP don't go there for mate testing, but just for how nice should be the track with the sun out, should be amazing to go there.
Yeah, I'm interested to see though. I mean, the street circuit will be cool for something different, I guess. And look, I will say that when I saw the Instagram post that Phillip Island was done, I was like just ripped my heart out. But at the same time, Adelaide is a crazy city for sport. They go fucking nuts for any kind of sporting event. I mean, they probably get what, like 300,000-400,000 people for the V8 supercars every year? Like, because there's nothing else to do in Adelaide. Like nothing, dude.
I mean, our media girl is from there. And she says it's really funny, but okay, let's see. But I mean, street races will be really nice. I mean, I'm a TT Ice of Man lover.
Ooh.
I mean, I love her. And this will be funny, you know, but let's see how is the first try.
Do you think you'd ever do the Isle of Man TT?
Me?
Yeah. Retired, Pedro, you got 5 world championships, 6 world, maybe 10 world championships.
For sure, I will be like a mobile chicane there, you know, because having the spaces of a track will be so difficult. But maybe I wanted to maybe go with Michael to make a lap around behind him.
Yeah.
This will be super cool.
Really? Yeah. I'm going there in a couple of weeks.
Ah, yeah?
Yeah.
I will try also.
Yeah. Are you going to try go this year?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, not to make the lap time, but
yes.
Man, I don't know how many times in my life I will be able to go there, you know, to see racing like this. And even now that many of the top guys will, I mean, his career will not stay so long, you know, like Michael or Hickman or McGuinness, you know, for this. I think it's the moment to see the top guys there.
We're doing what week are you going to go? The first week or the second week?
I think the second one.
I'll be there. I think we're going to ride around the island on adventure bikes. Bring some gear.
I cannot promise nothing in public. I cannot promise nothing in public.
Yeah, no, of course. What a silly question. Yeah, but I think that the street circuit in Adelaide, what they do for the V8 supercars is crazy. And the fans there's so many fans come to that event. So I think that as much as it's sad that the best track on the circuit goes away, I think it's also cool that it kind of gives a chance for a really, really big event. And then, did you see that there's talks about Miami?
I don't listen to that, being honest.
You haven't heard that?
But anyway, Miami will be really good to go.
Yeah. So I mean, you haven't seen that?
No, to be honest.
I think it just came out today. Can you look on, just do a bit of a search and see? I saw something today about that.
I mean, Miami just for the Sunday party would be amazing.
Oh, dude, that's a wild place. I was just there for F1.
Okay.
Yeah,
How was?
I didn't go out.
Okay.
So I didn't see, randomly saw Paris Hilton DJ at the hotel that I was staying at, but I didn't go out. But I think everyone says it's pretty sick. But the event itself for the Formula One and the racetrack and the paddock in the stadium, you always do cool shit for Austin. I'm pretty sure you'd be able to do some cool shit for Miami.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, we have to be honest. And at the moment, I think are different classes that are much in a higher level than MotoGP, you know. At the moment, I think Formula One and, in my opinion, Supercross are making amazing shows around, you know.
Yeah.
It's true that MotoGP every time is making it better since Liberty Media come to the class. but at the moment we are still quite far from what Formula One can do, you know. But I think it's important that we start to go to these kind of countries, make it MotoGP bigger and bigger, you know, because maybe we lost many fans that we have like 10 years ago when Valentino was around, you know, for this. I think will be quite cool to the sport if we try to go in the direction of Formula One also.
Can you feel the presence of Liberty Media?
I think not at the moment. It's true that we start to make more social things with the fans compared, I will say 3 years ago when I started in the class. But it's true that at the moment it's everything quite chill. I imagine that we will go in that direction Formula One because looks like you only have to look how much Formula One grow up in the last couple of years for this. I think if this working in this stage, I think will work also in MotoGP.
And how do you feel about playing a role in the growth of the sport?
What do you mean?
Like, you can get some guys are like, fuck that, I just want to race. I don't care. I don't care about making the sport bigger. I just want to race. I want to do my thing. I don't want the cameras. I don't want the attention. I don't want the media. Just let me race my MotoGP bike. And then there's other guys that almost like see a responsibility to try and help grow the sport. What side of the fence are you on?
I mean, being honest, I remember the season that much fun I have in Moto in the championship, let's say, was my first one because also it was the year of the COVID and was zero public in the track because you only was focusing racing. You know, this was so funny. Was, let's say, the essential of the sport, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it was just racing. I know also that even for us, even for the fans, even for the sport, it's so important that we start to make these things. At the moment, like I say, I still many career to go, or we hope. And at the moment, I'm more in the part of racing, let's say. But I think it's quite interesting that we start to do many things with the fans and try to grow up the sport because this will be so good for everyone.
Yeah, because it is hard because you have such a balance of you're a racer that wants to win a world championship. That means more to you than anything. But you also kind of want to see the sport grow. It's a hard balance.
I mean, I think we have to see for ourselves. And now if you talk to me, hey, Pedro, you will change your 2 championships of Moto3 and Moto2 to get one of MotoGP today, I say to you, yes. I mean, it's the dream of our lives. I mean, in my case, since I was 5 to now that I will turn 22, is the only thing I think day and night. I mean, it's no way to take this dream out of your head, you know, for this. If you think about the sport, okay, it's so good that grow up a lot, but if you see for yourself, also it's quite nice to win a championship.
Yeah. And I guess if you do both, perfect.
We hope. But let's try to win a championship.
Yeah.
Then we will try to make the sport grow.
So let's go back to the very start. It's a pretty cool history. You came from nothing.
Yeah.
Your family is you're a fishing family.
Yeah.
And it's generations back. And when I grew up in Australia, and so we're a very young country, right? But for you have this Spanish heritage with your family that is living in a small fishing village that goes back generation after generation after generation after generation. That's a very cool and unique story. And with that, I mean, you could have been very close to just being a fisherman for the rest of your life.
I mean, was really close in a stage. But it's true what you say. I mean, I come from a really medium-level family, let's say, working from generation in fishing. But somehow my father, from the day that me and my sister born, he was not really wanted this life for us. You know, I mean, my sister was brilliant studying. I mean, she was really brilliant. Me, not at all, being honest. But he never wanted that we go to the boat, let's say. It's true that he loved it. I mean, I told to you that if you take away the boat to my father, he will die in a minute, you know?
He's like a fish.
Yeah, I mean,
It needs the water.
Totally love it. I mean, it's no way that you take out my father from the town, you know, because he feels part of it, you know. But it's true that he was also loving motorcycle. He had a 1000cc bike that normally he go to make some track days with his friends. And it's curious because when I was 4, 5, I was hating.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I was hating go with my father to the track, to even the listen of the bikes. I was hating. But somehow this thing one day changed. He gave me like, you know, this mini cross bike, the typical shiny bike.
Yeah.
And we go to one football pitch to make some laps. And okay, I like it. Okay, it's not that bad. Then I start to go with him to some track days. And I was enjoying there, but I was enjoying more when I was riding. And somehow one day, the track that normally he went was like a small school on top in a parking, let's say. And I go there because, okay, I was not icy kid, let's say. I was moving around all day and don't let mom be quite calm, let's say. And mama arrived there and say, you want to try? I say, okay, we try. It was my first day in road bike. And being honest, now thinking, being more old, I don't really like it, but there was more kids around and I enjoy more than going alone. For this, being honest, from that day, I started to go to this school, making some days during the week. And day by day, I was like forgetting more the school and my friends in the school. I was more focused in the bikes and lovely to go with my friends to ride a bike, you know. For this, from that day, everything changed.
And you can remember that day?
Yeah. I remember I was with, it was not my bike, was not my suit, nothing was mine. But I remember it was a white suit with the S of Superman, the Superman logo here, with a replica from Jorge Lorenzo, the helmet, with a bike that the guys from the school have there just to try. And like I said, maybe the first day I was not really liking because I like more the motocross and all these things, but somehow was more kids around and I was spending the time, I will say, you know. And from that day, everything changed, you know.
When did you start to enjoy the riding itself?
Maybe at 6.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe at 6, I remember we make our first race. You know, the father of Jorge Lorenzo have like a small championship, Liga Interescuelas. And this school that I was competing that championship. But let's say, was not mandatory to go. Okay, we go. I remember the first race was in Mallorca. And was that many kids that was Group A and Group B. And you, depend the lap time that you get, you go to one group or the other one. I was the last of the second group. And in the grid, I was that nervous that I started to cry that I don't want to go. Anyway, I go and I finish last, but even maybe a lap away from the first. Imagine how bad I was. But okay, after this race, I was more happy, let's say. I was happy. And then I remember that we go to Malaga, the next week or somehow, also the race of the championship. And I remember that, in this school were guys that started in the same moment than me. And okay, we were fighting at the end of the grid. But I remember that I finished the second last or the third last. Man, and this was like a victory. I remember that day that my father making, I will not say a party, but he was celebrating like if we win, you know? And I was really liking the feeling of competition, let's say.
Yeah.
More than ride a bike, I will say. The feeling of compete and versus the other guys and all these things, I love it from that moment. For this, we make all this championship, and in the last race, I remember that I was the last of the first group. You know, for this, the evolution was that good that even myself being a kid, I was seeing my evolution, you know, for this. I was maybe the thing that was really make me make a click and really wanted to ride a bike.
Yeah, because I think that makes a lot of sense. When you're a kid, maybe you don't understand the value of riding, or you don't really get the feeling of flow state and all of these. You don't really understand how good that is compared to normal everyday life. But when you can see the progression and you can start to get better and better, plus when your father races, your father's your hero at this age, and it's something that gets him excited. And
Yeah.
this is a very positive feeling for a young boy.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing that, like you say, maybe you don't get addict to ride a bike at beginning, you know, because at the end, okay, at beginning he's just suffering and don't improve and crashing and all these things, you know. But I remember, I always say to many fathers that ask me for tips for his kid, I mean, the moments that I remember with more love of everything was from the day one to before arriving to be professional, more than anything because I was going with my father and my mom every week to a different race with the motorhome, you know? And this was the thing that I was loving. Okay, then, like we say, when you become professional, everything becomes so serious, and it's not like that. But I was loving the way that we go racing and we spend the weekends in the track and training. And okay, my father is not a professional, but he tried to let me understand many things. Or I remember also the day that I learned to put gears in a Kawasaki 65. Man, I remember this day like if it's today. We were in a big parking in our hometown trying to put the gears, and my father go from 0 to 100 because maybe I forgot to take the clutch like for 4 times in a row. I mean, when I was just riding, it was okay. I was putting the gears, taking out, everything was fine. But man, I don't remember one day like this one that my father was screaming to me like this because I was not taking the clutch, you know? This is the things that really, when you are professional, you remember.
Yeah, and is it hard to, you know, you have a tough weekend in the MotoGP class. Is it hard to remember these days in that moment?
You don't remember that days. Unfortunately, you don't remember that days.
It's a shame, eh?
Yeah, I mean, always I say that, I'm really grateful to the life because I'm able to ride where I always wanted to ride, in the championship that I wanted to ride, and in the maximum class of the sport that we are, you know? But at the end, we only see the final result. We don't see how much you fight. You don't see how much you train. You don't see how tough was the weekend, you know? You just see the final result. Maybe a bad weekend, you are 4th, but you don't see that bad. But the other one that you don't get the result that you was thinking, you also are angry. But also the days that you think that you can win and you don't win, you are angry also even if you are in the podium for this. Sometimes we are quite egocentric, I will say. We don't only see the final result, and if we don't get it, we forgot how difficult it is to stay where we are, you know, for this. Sometimes maybe we have to chill down a bit and see that we are really privileged.
Yeah, yep, 100%. So before we keep talking about the racing, what do you remember about fishing as a kid?
I was never fishing like a kid.
You never went on the boat?
I mean, I went to the boat to make some laps around, you know, when my father was trying the engines or whatever. But like I say, my father never want his life for us. I mean, from day one, he was just don't want it. I mean, even for me that, okay, in the moment that I was not really gonna be professional and like I say, we go out of chances, my other way, because I don't want it to study, was to go fisherman with him. But he directly say no. I mean, if you go to a boat, you will go to other one, but not to mine. I mean, my fathers know maybe how tough is the fisherman life, how many days he suffered because he don't get fish enough to can take the money, or directly you don't get fish, you know, because it's not that easy. Nobody can say to you that you will get fish that day. And maybe for him, being I would say the boss of the boat, was not easy to say to the people or see to people working that hard to don't get any result, you know, for this. Maybe he never want this life for his kids.
How old were you when you understood that?
Maybe when I really understand, maybe I was 15. When I really get out those chances, you know, and maybe you get some days to understand that, okay, this come to the end, you know, it's what it is. You cannot change nothing, you know. At the end, I'm really grateful because my parents and even all the hometown and all the fishermen give me a small support, during the years, but everything come to the end. And sometimes you make a step back and you start to see everything from the outside, and you see how much people is suffering to bring money home. Or my sister that arrived one moment that she stopped studying and she go to work, and she was working maybe from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m., and I arrived one moment of my life that I was not seeing my sister, because she was working. For this, maybe there you start to see how privileged you was to be able to ride that many years. And, I'm thinking to try to make other way.
Did you ever think that you weren't going to make it? Or did you always believe that you would make it?
I mean, arrived 1 week that I was really feeling that was done. I mean, was no more money, was no more chances. Also was in this step between be professional or not. And I think it's where more people lose the chance, It's true that we decide to send the, let's say, description to the Red Bull Rookies Cup selection event. And okay, I was there not really knowing what was happening because I was not talking English. And I arrived there and I said to my father, okay, my father said to me, okay, this is your last chance. If not, we try everything. For this, go out, enjoy, and what will be is what will be. That's it. Just go, enjoy, and that's it. And I jump in the bike, I start to make some laps around, and when everything was sliding, because these tires was not so good, also the condition was really cold, and everything was starting to feel like mine, I say, oh, buddy, we are again in the game. We are again in the game.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So when you had to make it happen, you did?
Finally, we did, because I remember that I was coming from winning the Spanish Championship. Then we go to the European Championship that in that moment was called the Junior World Championship. I go in a team that was feeling that was going to be great, but then the money disappear, and I make the idea was to make the 6 races of the championship, and I make 2. Then I broke my arm. This type of years that anything is matching.
Yeah.
And happened this, and okay, I was recovering, everything fine, blah, blah, blah. I make the selection, and for me it was like a shock, because it was like, how in 4 months nothing was matching, the bike was not mine, I was not feeling, I was just crashing, I was battling for 22. I mean, every race I was penalized in this championship.
What for?
By riding slowing, trying to find other riders.
Really?
Qualifying. Every single race.
Huh.
Every single race. And for me, it was like the first shock of my career, because I say, why in 6 months, nothing was matching, nothing was working, I was really slow. How today I'm fast again? Why? I mean, I remember this year many times now, because it's more or less in the same situation that I'm now, And I remember that I was just trying to find an excuse for myself, to keep going. Because when you get the result, it's so easy to keep going and keep training and keep fighting. But when you are 6 months fighting, working, doing everything, and you are not getting nothing, I mean, man, I'm telling to you, I was not getting points in the championship. This means I was always out of 15 first. You need to find something to keep going, because it's so difficult.
How did you keep going then?
To be honest, I was not thinking so much about this championship, because I was knowing that something was wrong. Something. I was not knowing what, but something, because then I was going to train with many guys that was riding with me, with street bikes or whatever, and I was as fast as them. For this, I think, okay, something is not working. What? I don't know. But something is not working. And then somehow, since the day that I am on that bike for the selection event and everything matched, it's like all the questions go away. It's not like now that I have many questions around why the things are not coming, but now I have more experience, let's say. And I know that it's just a matter of keep going for this. in that days was not so much in the mind, let's say.
So did you feel like you were an extremely talented rider? Did you feel like you were destined for MotoGP in terms of how talented you were? Let's say somebody goes, here's $1 million, don't worry about money, get everything exactly how you want it to. Did you always believe that if you had that you would be MotoGP world champion based on your talent? Or did you doubt yourself and your own talent?
I don't believe so much in my talent, being honest.
Really?
Yeah,
Even today?
even today.
Even winning a race from the pit?
Yeah.
Fuck.
I mean,
Back yourself, brother.
I work a lot in the past. I mean, even now, I remember why I win this race was because I was so egocentric in my mind. I mean, I remember that, okay, I get the penalty. Normally, I don't discuss so much with the marshals because will not change nothing. For this, okay, I take my penalty, I go to the hotel. And I remember this race was in Doha, that normally is the session are during the afternoon and the night. And okay, I go to the hotel, I start to see races, blah, blah, blah. And I remember to see, in that days was, Fenati was riding, and the week before he made 2 long laps, and he come back to the group. For this I was thinking, okay, if he only have the mid of the race to do it, I have whole race to recover time. I mean, it's easy. It's easy. Boo. I remember I arrived the next day to the track. I mean, it was midday, something like this. And Pete Bader come to me and say, hey, champ, how it's going? Say, boh, I mean, I think if everything in my head match, in the middle of the race, I will be in the group. Then it's a matter of pass the guys. And he was looking to me like this and saying, yeah, but don't get injured, eh? Don't get injured. Doesn't matter if you don't take points. I mean, finish the race. Okay. But in my mind, was super clear. But was a matter of how much I was working for it. I mean, I was knowing that I was having everything in the table. I was having the bike, the team, the setup, the paces. It's just a matter of going out and do it.
That's insane.
Was insane even for me.
So let's talk us through that race then. So penalty, and I mean, dude, Binder was on the front row, like all the good guys. It's
Yeah.
not like none of the fast guys were kind of at the back, and all the good guys were at the front, and you just make pass after pass after pass, and then, dude, make history.
The good thing that in my days, minimum for me, Moto3 was so easy to pass people. I mean, I was not really never working a lot in engine brakes or electronic side or whatever, because normally I always had my clutch in the hand. For this, when I was not really able to pass somebody, I take all the clutch and I just go in, and then let's see how I go out of the corner, but...
Wait. So no engine brake, clutch in, roll through the turn, and then back on.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was not making sense. I mean, when people was trying to pass me, let's say, and they can't, for me, it was like, I'm not understanding why. I mean, but for me, it was like so easy to just use the brakes that I was not really using the engine brake the engine brake. For this, I was catching all the clutch and just... For this, I was really able to pass people because the entry speed that I have with that bike was awesome. I remember also that this Moto3 bike, they improved a lot the front and was closely impossible to crash with the front. I mean, was close to impossible to crash with this bike. For this, I was just believing in the tires.
That's ridiculous. Do you know how ridiculous that sounds?
No, sound. I mean, for everyone that know how to work a bike, but it was ridiculous even to the guys that was working with me. Because I remember that I made really bad qualifying this season. I mean, I remember that, okay, there I was in pit lane, but Le Mans I was 26, Barcelona I was 28. I mean, I remember to look back and was only the safety car. Was not any more line behind me. But somehow, I start to live in my, to believe in my own vision that I was knowing that sooner or later I was gonna be first. For this. Arrived one moment that I remember this year I was with Martial, like teammate, and I was maybe 26, and I was not even checking data. I was like really sure in my mind that I was gonna arrive. That was like, okay, it's what it is. Let's go tomorrow. Now it's not like this.
It's not
now
like
it's
this
not
now,
like this.
dude. It's the exact opposite. So what did the team say when you were telling them this shit?
No, I mean, I remember I only say to Pete, because I arrived quite late, let's say, to have directly the lunch. And I say just to Pete, don't worry, I will be there. And he was like, let's see this guy don't get hurt the second race of the championship. Let's see. I mean, but everything goes fine, For this, after this day, they were believing a bit more. It's true that, I'm honest, it was not easy to believe in a rookie that every race was qualifying in the back, don't pass in Q1. In what head will believe that he will be back on top,
So were you telling the engineers, like, don't worry about the data, I just pull the clutch in the turns and I just roll on in there?
No, we make like 100, we changed the setup of the clutch like 100 times this year. Because they were not understanding what was going on. But every time we changed, we were worse when I was using. For this, we come back to the standard bike, to the standard setup that were in that bike, and I just go, let me make my things.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Do people know that you were doing that?
KTM people, yeah. The rest, I don't think so.
Fuck, that is mind-blowing, dude. Because that's just not the way that you ride a bike.
It's not even the way that I was riding alone, but was so good to overtake people. It's true that in that days I was training in a really big school that now, was training people that now is in the championship still, like in Moto2 and Moto3. And all my training was based in try to overtake people as fast as I can. And I was training with pit bikes or 600 or the bike that was that day there. And knowing that my only target was to overtake them, I was just trying the way, doesn't matter the way. I remember trainings that I was crashing like 25 times in 4 hours. It was insane. But arrived one moment that, like I say, all these things was, with that bike especially, was awesome.
That's so gnarly. So I actually got scammed recently on a credit card, which was a nightmare to deal with. A dude in the UK bought $3,000 of Lego, believe it or not, and some Nando's. So I had to cancel the card, I had to wait for a new one, I had to dispute the charges, the whole deal. And this was the second time it happened to me. And it really just made me realize how important proper security is when it comes to anything to do with your money. And this is why I started using Cash App, which was awesome when they reached out and decided to help us out on the podcast. Your security deserves to be a priority, and Cash App treats it that way. With Security Lock, Cash App requires a successful Face ID or biometric authentication to access your account. It's like your money is protected by your own personal bodyguard, even if your phone is lost or stolen. Plus, if you're about to send money to someone new and Cash App notices something looks a bit off or that you might be falling for a scam, it will send you a warning before the money is sent to confirm that everything looks right. Turn on Security Lock in your Cash App settings today and pay attention to scam warnings to keep your money safe. Learn more at cash.app/security. For a limited time, new Cash App customers can earn $10 if they use code SECURE10 in their profile at sign up and send $5 to a friend within 14 days. Terms apply. Cash App is a financial service platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank. Member FDIC. Discounts and promotions provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures. So why were you so shit at qualifying?
Being honest, I don't know. Never come to me. Normally in the paces I'm quite okay. It's true, but I never match a proper lap. I mean, I think I have 6, 7 pole position in 6 years. It's less than 1 per year, you know. Never really come quite natural to me for this. It's true that in the past I was really focusing my strong points than in my weak ones. You know, I mean, if I was good in overtaking, I was just trying to improve that. If I was good in braking points, I was just trying to improve that. The weak points, now is the moment that I'm trying to improve that because it's the only way to be really competitive in MotoGP.
So what are your weak points, do you think?
I mean, for sure, 1 year ago, I was closing the line like no one else. You know, I was closing the lines in the entry of the corners, and sometimes, I mean, last year I was crashing a lot at the beginning of the year. For this, arrived one moment that I say, okay, if I want that this situation change, I need something extra. I mean, I know that I will not change the bike. I know that I was not expecting a miracle, being honest. For this, I say, okay, I need something more from my side.
And so you just went to work on the things that you thought you were not good at?
Yeah, I mean, I start to really make, I would say, stupid exercises, but I was just trying tracks, finding tracks that was necessary deleting corners to go fast. For this, maybe I spent 2 weeks in a row, every day on the bike, just trying to delay the corners. Or maybe go for sections. I mean, normally I was alone during the weekends, during the week. For this, I was maybe doing corner 1, 2, 3, and then making a shortcut, and again, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, until this was okay. Then I tried to find other track that was in the same direction. Okay, let's say how it's from beginning. And then, being honest, what helped me a lot was to spend all the winter in red sun with the motocross bike.
Yeah.
Because it's not the same. I mean, I was quite used to ride in hard pack, let's say.
Yeah.
But you know that how hard it is to pass from the hard pack to the sand.
Mm-hmm.
And try to understand that I was not able to put angle and close the front just to turn because you know how deep is this sand, let's say. This helped me a lot to understand
Flow.
how much flow I have to do in the bike, or even how long I can use the corner, even don't losing time, you know, for this. This helped me a lot, being honest.
Yeah. You would think, or I guess it would be easy to just focus on just the road, and then you'd think, there's nothing that the sand can give me, or there's nothing that some kind of surface that's so different to what you race on, but it can challenge you and the balance and the feel of the front, and because you really can't put any weight on the front of a dirt bike in the sand. Like everything has to be opened up, weight back, loading the rear of the motorcycle, and just like so much throttle, so much trailing of throttle. It's a completely different way to ride a motorcycle.
Yeah, but even how you manage the session, let's say. I mean, in a road bike, I can be like 1 hour 30 flat out without even sweating, let's say.
Really?
Maybe not that much, but in that way.
Yeah.
Man, my first run of the day in a motocross bike, in 10 minutes I'm done. I mean, it's huge, the difference. Also, this year I passed from the 250 two-stroke to the 450 four-stroke.
Different beast, brother.
Man, I mean, MotoGP is a yoke compared to that bike. And I have a standard bike, I mean, it's nothing. I imagine compare the factory bikes. But, I mean, even for the mental side, how you control the different situations, we can go one day to a road track and you will see that from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., if it's summer, it's completely the same. I mean, okay, a bit more rubber, a bit more grip, this, that, but nothing really serious for your mind. But I was days in red sun that Barreda was riding. Man, was not a lap that I was more or less able to match the same lap time. And even in my mind, that normally in the road you only make the same line every lap, was like, damn. I mean, in my mind, it was so really difficult to understand what was the faster line depending the lap. For these things, if you try to put it in your head, we have to understand also that we are not so professional in motocross. You know, for this, taking out Jack and Mark and some guys that really know how to whip and all these things, in my cases, I don't really know how to do it for this. You also have to compensate the risk. But I have to say that motocross really helped me to understand all this kind of flow and these things.
It's so cool to hear you say that.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking with Jet in Austin to go to his ranch.
Yeah.
But I say, man, try to make the jump safe, because in the corner you crash in a corner and will not be the end of the world.
But this,
I mean, the last time that I broke my femur, for this. I don't want that, for this. But I mean, it's so cool also to see how easy it looks for them and how difficult it looks for me. I mean, sometimes I don't post videos in Instagram just because I see the video and say, fuck. In my mind, I was fast and look that piece of shit. I mean, I feel like a mobile chicane,
Oh, that's so good. Hey, if it makes you feel any better, I've been riding dirt bikes since I was 5 years old.
Okay.
And every time I watch myself ride, I go, fucking hell, bro. Surely in 30 years, you've gotten better than this.
Nah, man. I told to you that minimum you are 10 seconds faster than us.
Not Jack.
Maybe Jack 20.
Bro, he's
Compare me.
Dude, who's the fastest MotoGP? Would it be Jack?
Maverick also is quite fast.
Oh, yeah, Maverick is fast.
Maverick is quite fast. But also,
Dobby's fast too.
Dobby is really fast and the style is quite nice.
Yes.
And Marc, I listen many histories of him going really fast, but seriously. But I never see him in person, and even, how it's not easy to understand the speed in some Instagram
Video,
reels
yeah.
or whatever,
Yeah.
But I listen that Marc is seriously fast.
Yeah.
The problem that Jack go whipping everywhere, For this, he feels that he's the double or the triple faster that he is. But no, Jack is, the style of Jack is serious. Also, I see his tracks in Australia, and this is sick. This guy have the Dreamer farm. You know what I mean?
Dude, so I was there when he built the track.
Yeah.
And we all rode there. There was this one, I didn't jump it. I jumped everything else but this one tabletop.
Yeah.
Brother, that thing was a fucking booter. How big? It would have been, 90 feet?
Yeah, near 100.
Yeah, nearly 100 feet, which is fine. I can jump 100-foot
But
jump
this is
all
like
day long.
25 meters?
Dude, it was like this.
Like a wall, no?
Bro, it was crazy. So you hit it was bigger than 100 feet. There's like a triple before it.
Yeah.
So it's a floater. You just, beautiful. Just felt so nice. Come around a right-hander. And then the other thing is I can't whip that way.
Okay.
So he can whip both ways. Okay. So you come around the turn and it just tosses it, dude. And I'm like, I'm out. I am out. I am not touching this jump. It was fucking huge, bro.
No, it's amazing. Also, I see now the Digans farm that he's doing. I follow his series in YouTube. Holy shit. I don't know if I will be brave enough to go to ride the... With Jet, maybe, because, I see the track is not that critical, let's say. And if he can modify some jumps, we'll be okay. But, man, this is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, you need to, when you get some time, you should definitely go check some of those tracks out. It'll blow your mind, how fast those guys go when you're standing on that track. I rode at the Star compound, and it was the worst conditions to ride. They rode it all morning, and the track was ruddy and bumpy, and it wasn't crazy rough, but then it bakes in the sun all day.
Okay.
And then I go out there, and they water the whole track, flood the whole track. So you know how hard it is to ride in hard ruts that are just full of water, super slippery? Bro, I felt like a fucking squid. I couldn't even make a proper lap around the track. Didn't do almost all the jumps. It was insane. And they just eat that shit up.
No, it's crazy. Also, I go to some GPs the GPs of MXGP that are around Spain. Normally, I go there.
Yeah.
And man, I remember to see Prado. winning in Madrid. I don't remember now if 2020 or 2021 versus Jeffrey in KTM.
Oof.
Man, this was a real battle.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I was even more nervous being outside than be riding in MotoGP, you know. I mean, these guys, how even us that we are, okay, are they both top of the sport in different classes? I think they don't realize how amazing we see that, you know.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things that I think maybe I've found to be the most cool since I've started the podcast, because I mean, all you guys know about the podcast simply because you're fans of the sport so much. And for on our side in Supercross and Motocross, we would kill to be on the same level as MotoGP. But then you look at all of these Supercross riders, and I know a lot of you guys do, that they're the baddest dudes.
I think if we reverse the situation and they try our bikes, they will not take so much time to be competitive in a street bike minimum. I mean, I told to you, I see Jet in these pocket bikes in America with Marc
Yep.
or Jorge or whatever. If they jump in a street bike, I told to you in 4 months, 5, 6, they will be able to make some national races.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for them, the level of stress that they can get in his minds are in a level that, okay, maybe MotoGP, we can get it, but will not be never the same, you know? For this, I think how fast his brains can go in a road bike, minimum in a street one, a standard, will be much easier for them to think about things. You know, for this, I think if they take a break and he will try, he will do it.
Well, do you remember Jean-Michel Bale?
Not at all.
Okay, so yeah, he's an older guy, but he was kind of the first Jet Lawrence.
Okay.
I'll send you a video after this.
Okay.
1992.
Okay.
Looks like Jet.
Yeah.
Same style. And on like old school bikes, right? So just brilliant. Just was the most beautiful, smooth, standing up, hips back, flat, just yard, 500 two-stroke, just beautiful. He went and he raced. I can't remember if he did a world championships at all, but he podiumed some big races.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. A French guy, crazy French dude.
The problem of Jet that he's not riding the track. The track is riding him, you know?
Yeah.
Feel like he don't feel the jumps. Looks like he don't feel the bumps, the ruts. It's the problem from Jet that he make everything looks that easy that then idiots like me look his videos and think that we can do the same, and then is when we become hurt.
Yeah. So who are your favorite riders?
In Supercross,
Yeah.
being honest, I really like Coop.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Coop is Coop, man. That's it.
the adult.
Jeffrey, when he was in KTM, I was really liking. Being
Yeah.
honest, since he go away from the brand, I was not really following the precision or whatever.
Company man. KTM guy. Through and through.
No, being honest. Then Chase, when he was in Honda, I was really liking.
Yeah.
It's true that looks like he will be fast sooner or later with the Kawasaki. Barcia, I meet him, and he's a really cool guy.
He is a really cool
Yeah.
guy. Yeah.
And then, Digan, I follow his videos in YouTube. I think he communicates quite well what be a Supercross rider looks like. Because I think it's so many different compare Supercross guys in America, compare World Championship guys here in Europe. You know, how they... Also, I think the Americans think so different compared to the European ones, you know. For this is quite interesting see how things are going there.
So, who wins Parla?
Who wins what?
Parla, first round, outdoors.
Jet is back?
Yeah.
Jet.
Even after the injury?
Yeah.
Even with Deegan?
Doesn't
dribble?
matter. Coop is good, but Jet is Jet.
He's that motherfucker, eh?
Man, I told to you, I mean, Jet is not riding the track. The track is riding Jet, you know. I mean, you know this type of starts that doesn't matter what they do. Maybe, okay, in the worst of the cases, he will take one race to win. But I see difficult that he don't win that championship.
So, who in any other sport can you compare Jet to?
I will say Marc.
Why?
I mean, these type of guys that are touching from with something extra, you know? I mean, you cannot see all the MotoGP riding in the last years that be that amount of persons in a short time and winning that much he win. I mean, from 2013 until he get injured, how many championships he lose? One. This is no normal. I mean, why yet the championship that yet don't win? Why it was? Because he get injured. It's not any more things to talk about. I mean, at the moment, he will be the king of the sport for years if if he is still healthy.
So let's talk about Marc. Is he the GOAT?
If he's not the GOAT, he's in the same level than Valentino. I mean, what this guy achieve will be difficult that somebody arrive and beat him, let's say.
So, okay. So let's take away race wins and championships.
Okay.
Just riding the motorcycle. Is he the GOAT?
I will say yes. I mean, looks like what Marc achieved, even without the championship out of the wins. Just the only... If you just think about his comeback to MotoGP, winning in the second try, and how much he suffered for doing it. I mean, if it happened to me, I need it. I mean, I still young, I still having no money, compare him. Finally, if you get the final picture, I don't get nothing compare him. Okay, 2 titles in smaller classes, but this is for nothing if you don't finalize the cycle, let's say. But he was not really needed. He was for 10, 11, 12 years, no, I don't know, in the biggest company of the world, making bikes. He was getting good money. He was already taking what he dreamed when he was a kid, that was winning in MotoGP. He was not needed to come back. He struggled 1, 2, 3, 4 years in Honda. He go to satellite teams that I never think about seeing Marc in a satellite team. Maybe another brand is okay, but in a satellite, being Marc Marquez, 8-time world championship in these days, it's not normal. I mean, it's like Roxen, you know, going to Suzuki. The team can be so good, but it's not factory team. How many years old are this bike? But just how much they want, how much they try, it's not the way that the life don't give them back what they deserve.
Such a good point.
You know, for me, what make Marc one of the greatest is not how much he achieved, is how much it costs to take it back. Because when you have how you call it, the king,
A crown.
Yeah, when you have the crown and this go away, normally we have to understand that youngest riders come, Quartararo, Pecco in his days, Martin. These guys are talented. And you are coming back from really difficult years to take it back what is yours, let's say. This is, I imagine, what he was thinking, you know. And he get it. This is something to take out the cap and say, man, was no one deserving more than you.
Dude, that's beautiful.
No, I mean, I'm really honest when I talk about people, and when somebody is that good, you have to recognize. I hope one day to be half good of what, or take the half of what he achieved, you know? At the end, like I say, I don't respect him for how much he win. Maybe I respect even more him after how much he suffered to take it back.
Dude, you nailed that. Like, what you just said is so incredible, especially from a competitor that's trying to beat him every weekend. And he's a guy that has beaten you. And to have that level of respect for a competitor, that's one thing. But just that framing, it's so right. And when he won that championship, like it brought a tear to my eye to just see how much it meant to him, you know. And I remember, was it Mandalika? He had the really big, the high side going into the right hander. Man, I was watching that session live, and I remember going, no. Just you could see it.
Yeah.
You could see it step. And I'm like, it's fucking over.
Yeah.
It's over. He's never coming back from this.
But not by crashing, because he don't need it. You know? There is when you see the really love for the sport that he have. You know? Because he don't need it. A young boy or a guy that is really fighting for his first championship or whoever, okay, they need it. But Marc was already here.
He's got all the money.
He was not necessary.
Yeah.
Was not necessary.
Yeah.
For this. Like this, you can see how much he loved the sport and how much somebody can fight for something that they want. This is at the end, okay. At the end, you can win more or less. You know how it's the sport that not especially you have to win because there are many external things around.
Yeah.
But just see how much he fight for take it. He deserves all the respect of the world, let's say. Even if you are a rival, let's say.
Yeah. So you've been compared to Marc.
Yeah.
At what point does that stop being a compliment and start being pressure?
Never, to be honest. Never, to be honest. I'm think that I have the proper persons around, and they are not putting extra pressure in me. Thankfully, also this arrived the first season that I was in the championship. For this, maybe start to be so normal for me that I was not taking like pressure. Let's say I was just okay. Again, the same comment again. So I arrived one moment that I start to say that I was not the new Marc Marquez. I'm the new Pedro Acosta. Because at the end, even if for some reason I finally get what I want, I don't want to be compete Marc. Because Marc, at the moment, is here. I will need to really take my time to be where he is, you know, and even we never know if we will get there, you know, for this. Never hurt to me. It's true that maybe when I was starting to fail also was not helping, but it's part of the sport.
So if you ever get to be teammates with Marc,
Yeah.
hypothetically, how does that feel for you if you ever got in that position?
Will be a nice challenge. I mean, I think that even if for any reason I cannot win that championship, but I just arrive until the end battling with him, will be like, in my head will be like, okay, now you are where you want to be. You are in that position. Even if I lose, will be a honor lose by him, let's say. But minimum I will have the same things and the same chance to win the championship than him. For this minimum, I will have a real comparison, let's say. At the moment, being honest, these 3 years in KTM are not being easy, let's say. And in Spanish, we have like one song that say 16 days and 500 nights. At the end, when you go to sleep, you are the only one that are in your mind. And you know exactly the truth that is going on, you know? For this, maybe that day will be the day that I will not need any excuse to myself and will be black or white, or you win or you lost. But minimum I will be in pace, you know, because I will have not any more doubts in myself.
That's gangster.
No, I mean, this is really, I mean, I'm not here because I want to win, you know. In several states, I just want to show to myself that I'm not the problem, let's say.
How do you say it in Spanish, that saying? 16 days, 500 nights?
17 días y 500 noches. It's a song, let's say.
That's super cool. So, yeah, because, I mean, you get to fight for the same thing, but you're not on the same equipment.
Exactly.
And it's very hard to
compare.
Yeah.
Even to compare. At the end, I know it's like Formula One now. You know how many years Max was literally destroying everyone in the Red Bull, and how much looks like Red Bull is suffering now. You know, sport is like this, have up and downs, but with the only ones that you can compare are with your teammates. And at the moment, with the brand that we are, okay, it's true that some races, some KTM beat me, but it's not the normal thing. Normally, in taking out my first year that Brad beat me in the championship, normally I was always the first KTM for this. Okay, this chapter in my mind is like close. I know that I can be the first KTM. But also I want to, like I say, I want to show to myself that I can or I cannot, but minimum be sure of what is the reality. It's like, I don't want to go to bed and have to find some excuses every day to keep going. Because this, okay, one race is okay, 2, 3, 4, but you cannot find excuses every day.
So let's talk about Pecco and Marc.
Yeah.
Because there was a very big difference in performance when Marc came to Ducati. So how do you think that experience was for Pecco?
Difficult to say, you know. Difficult to say when you are not in the box. It's true also that people say that maybe Pecco started to be pressured by Marc being in the box. But also it's true that Pecco was coming from losing the championship in the last race. For this, it's difficult to know what take more weight in the balance, you know. Not easy to be always the number one and get beaten by your teammate, because like I say, there is no excuses.
Yeah, because that was the scenario that whether Marc comes to KTM, you go to Ducati, where you both go to a different brand and you find yourselves on the same team, you would be in that exact same situation.
Exactly.
And it's Marc 1, Pecco 0 in that scenario.
I mean, Marc is Marc. Marc can surprise everyone. I mean, he was winning with Honda even when was looking like Honda was really in a black hole, let's say. For this, it's difficult to say what Marc can make, you know. At the end, it's true that Pecco still being quite young. Marc, at the end, even if hurt to everyone, is at the end of his professional career. For this, it's difficult to say, but yeah, something happened.
So the other thing that's crazy with Marc is that he is on a Honda that was obviously not as good. And that motherfucker still tried to win.
Yeah.
And you're kind of objectively in the situation where your bike isn't an Aprilia or a Ducati. and we're not seeing you cartwheel at the end of these races, pushing for these wins. That is also something in Marc's brain. Maybe that he needed to dial back a little bit in a way, but like, dude, you can't help but be like, bro, you talk about balls of the size of a table.
Yeah, but I think when you normalize to win, it's not other thing that come to your head. I mean, I think also that when you are a winner and you start to really lose, it's quite easy to make it normal. I mean, you have to lose, okay, it's what it is, blah, 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 because you already win many things. What is impressive from Marc that looks like the only why he have to stay in the championship is because he want to win. It's not acceptable P2 in the championship. You know, for this, it's something that I will say remember to me, but it's not the same. Because I'm 3 years already after trying to win a race with the KTM, and looks like nothing is enough, you know, to win that race, and trying and putting everything together, and looks like it's taking more time than even what I was thinking in my first, in my mind, let's say, for this. It's not so easy to convince yourself when you only win when you was a kid until you become professional, to say, okay, it's what it is. It's not easy to your brain to accept it. Because, okay, I can say to you, okay, it's what I have, it's what it is. But I know that I'm lying to you. You know? I mean, it's like, yet, if he say next week, I will try to be inside the top 5. He's lying. I mean, when you are a winner, you are a winner. And when you have only this target in mind, doesn't matter what is in the middle, that you will go for it. Even if you know that it's not your day, even if you know that maybe it's not your track, when you put your helmet, you will forget and you will direct for it, even if you crash. Sometimes it's better to crash than don't try.
So, and you feel like you're a winner?
I hope. It's true that it's 3 years ago from my last victory, but I only have this moment in the head. I mean, I still remember Indonesia 23, you know. And if I'm trying to become better, it's because I wanted to back to this moment. I always think that we miss the places or we miss the people, not because we miss the place or we miss the people. It's because we miss what they make feel to us, you know? And the feeling of victory is something that is not so often. I mean, it's nothing in life that give me the same feeling.
So how many of those 500 nights do you think about the times where you've been very close to winning a MotoGP race?
I should be already around 900 for this. Moto race around there.
Which one of these close victories do you think about the most?
I mean, Japan 24
Motegi.
was not easy to accept, you know? I was a kind of idiot, let's say. Because it's true that there maybe I was missing a bit of self-confidence in MotoGP. I was not so sure competing Moto2 when I was leading, how to manage the tires, how to manage electronic, how to manage the bike, even how to manage the race, you know? And I remember that I started this race and I say, okay, I will push until the end because I don't know if they will manage or not for this. I will go with the plan of Moto2, push from beginning to the end, and if they pass me, they pass me. But I will give everything out. I make some passes and everything, and it was quite okay, but for nothing, you know, for nothing. I looked at this race was close. This race was really close. But I still thinking that in that moment, people have something more than me. For this, maybe I have many question marks in head. Now, maybe that I understand more the class, the bikes and everything, maybe question marks are less, and I know how everything is going.
So that just came down to inexperience.
Yeah. Also, maybe wanted too much.
Mm.
I mean, I remember Le Mans 22 was the first race in Moto2 that I was really competitive. I make pole position. I was leading until mid-race by 0.8 from my teammate. And I say, boh, now I make the last push. I put 1 second and then I manage. I fall down. Okay, everyone, don't worry, blah, blah, blah. But after 1 week, my manager come and say, look, I have something to say to you. I say, boh, let's see. Just to let you know, because this week was muy yellow, just to let you know that you lose the race because you was so egocentric. And I was like, what? Yeah. I mean, you lose that race just for ego. I mean, you just don't want to win. You just want to win and make it clear that you was the winner. I mean, it's not necessary that you put 1 second. I mean, just pass the finish line in first. That's it. And I will not say that day was the same in Motegi, but was more about unexperienced things. Was like, in Moto2, I always have a plan. I mean, I will make a start, I will make this, and more or less in the middle of the race, I should be around here. Okay. In MotoGP, I was like 1 year really having no plan in races. I was just trying to make the best 2 first laps I could, and then see where we were, and try to follow the guy in front, you know? For this, maybe Mugello was more about inexperience, I would say.
Yeah, the ego is a whole thing.
Yeah, the ego is your worst enemy sometimes.
Yeah, it's. I always say, the ego is a tool, and a hammer is a tool. You can build a house with the hammer, or you can hit someone in the head with it.
Yeah.
Same tool, 2 very different outcomes.
Yeah. I mean, also, sometimes it's quite difficult to manage, let's say. Because it's true that I think victory is like a drug, you know? And arrive one moment that you get so addicted to. And arrive one moment also that victory make you don't lose, you know? Because you are getting confidence and building. Pom. But arrive the day that you are not in your point and maybe it's not your day. And if this thing match and you force to be your day, is when ego arrive. And sometimes ego kill you. For this half of the experience or the confidence that you get, you lose it directly. Because at the end of the day, like I say, at the night, you know what you do. And you can be in the bed, say, okay, was a mistake, that's it. Or you can be honest to yourself and say, man, you was an idiot today.
And that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's honesty.
Yeah.
Because you can. I fucking hate this term. It's such a chick thing to say, but you can gaslight yourself.
What do you mean?
Have you heard that term in like the English term, like gaslighting, where it's like you'll basically like tell yourself a story.
Yeah. Okay.
To convince yourself, but it's bullshit.
Yeah.
So you can gaslight and it's like chicks will be like, he was gaslighting me into believing that it was all my fault.
Yeah.
But it's like that guy was the problem, but he tells this story that makes you think that it was your fault. But you can do that to yourself, and you can bullshit yourself, and you can believe it. But there's only so long that you can lie to yourself.
I mean, the ego is the worst friend that you can get. And everyone have ego, Don't get me wrong.
For sure.
Because at the end, if you know that you do something good, you will not anyone let you down.
Yeah.
Because you know that you are good in those things. But sometimes when ego arrive in bad moments, can you pass from be a hero or to be the big asshole in the room, let's say, for this. If you are really honest to yourself, normally ego don't come, but or come really shortly, let's say. But yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Ridge, and honestly, it's pretty cool because Ridge was one of the very first sponsors of this podcast, all the way back in 2018 when we were just getting going. And they sent me a wallet something like 7 years ago, and no joke, I have carried that exact same one every single day since. And it is still going strong. Luckily, I got a new one this month. I was definitely due for a refresher. And before Ridge, I was carrying a disaster. A fat, beat up leather brick cards spilling everywhere, sitting on the thing all day. And you know who still has a wallet just like that? Your dad. At this point, it's not even a wallet, it is a filing cabinet. This is the Ridge. Slim, holds up to 12 cards plus cash. It's built out of alloy, titanium, and carbon fiber, and the thing is basically indestructible. It is RFID blocking, so nobody is skimming your cards, and they have over 50 colors and styles, including the new 90s capsule drop, the Hot Rod, Lone Wolf, and Thunderbird. Here is the part I love. Ridge was built by a father and son, and every product has a lifetime warranty. This is literally the last wallet you or your old man will ever have to buy. Over 100,000 5-star reviews back that up. So the timing of all this is perfect. Ridge is running their Father's Day sale right now, up to 40% off their best gear. Head to ridge.com/gypsytales and grab Dad something he will actually use every single day. So it's been a tough few years with KTM. When you talk about the ego,
Yeah.
how hard is it to not let your own ego become like a volcano that erupts over the team and in the media and in these moments that maybe when you leave the box or you leave the weekend, you maybe wish that you dealt with things differently? Because when you're a winner and you know that maybe you don't have the equipment, and how hard is it to control that feeling?
Being honest, I'm quite happy of how I'm managing things. It's true that 2025, the first part of the season, I fuck up many times. I mean, for me, at the beginning of the season was better to shut up myself and don't talk. Because maybe the expectative was that high that even I was not seeing the reality, you know. I was like in my own world like this, trying to don't see that the things was not how it should be for win the championship. And the problem that I arrived race number 9, something like this, I was not really wanted to ride. I was not knowing why things was not going well. And arrived one moment that was also the moment that I take my coach, let's say, that say, okay, look, this is what you have. This is what you will have after the end of the race. For this, stop thinking the championship that is already gone and get the 100% of what you have.
Yeah.
Maybe one day will be 5th, maybe one day will be 6th, but stop crashing. Because like this, you will not build confidence in any time. Say, okay, it's better moment to shut up and work, let's say. It's true that always I'm really honest to the team, let's say, because at the end, they are the ones that are more interested to improve the bike.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not the easiest person to work with, because sometimes I'm that honest that can sound rude. But sometimes I think if you don't talk like this, also people don't take that serious.
Serious, yes.
You know, for this. It's a double arm, let's say.
Yep.
Can you shoot like this, but can shoot also like this.
Yeah.
For this, it's true that in the last year, I think I improved quite a lot in these things. I know how to put emotion in aside and be more professional, let's say, inside the box. But normally, ego don't arrive in these situations.
Yeah, and it's cool to hear you say that, right? Because I think you're 22. You're a fucking kid. You know, like, and I mean that respectfully, obviously, but it's like you're so young and so early in your career, and MotoGP is at such a high level, and the technology and what you guys have to deal with to set up these bikes every single weekend, and the tires, the chassis, the motor, the electronics, the media, the pressure, the want that you have for yourself to win, the expectation. There's so much that goes on. And also, I mean, you look at what happened to Jorge this weekend after the race.
Yep.
And it's so easy when you're on the couch with a beer in your hand to judge somebody in that moment. And I mean, he said he went too far and but man, you were just going 360 fucking kilometers an hour. You're just on a spaceship.
Yeah.
Dude, the feeling of exhaustion, fatigue, the adrenaline, the chemicals that are running through your body. The people in the media center, they're not feeling any of this shit.
Yeah.
The people on the couch have no adrenaline.
Yeah.
They're chilling.
Yeah.
It's Sunday afternoon, brother. I'm relaxing with the beer. I've eaten some Doritos while I'm watching this race.
Yeah.
To put yourself in that position of having to do that and risking your life, that's something that we can't relate to.
Yeah.
Only the 22 of you on the grid and the men that have raced behind you in the past know that feeling.
Yeah, and also, most in my case, a brand expect that you are more professional. But at the end, you are 22 years old guy having the problems of a 35 years old guy. How you manage these things? More when things should be in one way and are in the other one, you know? It's true that normally I set up the first 5 minutes because I never say a correct thing in these first 5 minutes. For this, even this weekend that other guy kicked me out in the last lap, or in the last corner of the race. Okay, the cameras don't look that, but I arrive in the box, destroy less middle of the box, and then go away to the trailer. It's not necessary to talk in this first 5 minutes. It's true that then, okay, you can discuss whatever you want, but maybe you have to cool down first. And I'm the ones that normally I don't try to look if the garden of the how you call it, the guy that live in the side of you in the other house.
What do you mean?
Coffin, no. The guy that live, you are living here. The guy that is.
Oh, your neighbor.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm trying never to see that the garden of the neighbor is more green than mine.
Yes.
For this, I try to put first of all the fault in myself.
Yeah.
Say sorry to everyone, and then start to talk. Because I know that sometimes when I talk seriously, I sound quite violent.
I feel you, brother. I'm the same.
You know? Also, understand that it's not so easy being Spanish, talking in English with Austrian people.
Yeah.
You know? But I'm quite happy because they also respect what I say and the way that I say, because I know that I'm not. If I think that something is black, I will go that this thing is black until I die. And it's no way that you make me change because you want to feel it better.
Yeah.
If this is black, it's black. That's it. Forgot it about the rest. I don't want even to keep going talking about that. For this, I'm quite happy that the people that talk to me or are with me in the team can understand these kind of things.
Yeah. And this is a very tough patch of your career that you've gone through in terms of your expectations and what you wish to achieve in your life. But I'm sure that you're going to find as your career goes on that you're going to be quite grateful for the lessons that you learned very early in your career.
I'm really grateful already of what I learned last year. I feel that now I'm much more mature. I can see things in long terms, you know. Last year I was only focusing today. Today. And at the end you see that our light at the end of the tunnel, you know. For this I hope to touch soon this light.
Dude, I was hoping so much you were going to get that win on the weekend.
Was close. This time I have to say that I'm really grateful to be okay. Because everything was quite tough to watch and understand even after the race. And if this bike hit me in the point, maybe today we will not have this podcast, you know. But in other hand, also I have to think that if anything happened, if we had no red flags, no accident, no nothing, my bike was stopped. I mean, for some reason, if you think, on Sunday, the life don't want it that I get any points. Because at the end, I make other 2 starts and I get the same 0 points that I was going to get if only the bikes was stopped.
Yeah.
For this, now I'm thinking that the life will make it happen when it's the moment. Maybe it's quite soon at the moment.
Yeah. So talk us through that crash. Like, what happened from your perspective?
Was everything quite tough? Because normally in MotoGP, we don't get technical issues.
Yeah.
It's super difficult that a bike stopped. Even in the qualifying that we are really, really on the limit in fuel. The bike is so difficult to switch off. I just arrived there before I was like repping the third before putting fourth, and just everything disconnect. You know, in a motocross bike, I imagine that is more easy to understand because the throttle is still by the cables to the throttle body and everything.
Yeah.
But normally when our bike switch off, means that everything switch off. I mean, the dashboard, the throttle, everything. In that case, no. In that case, only switch off the throttle because the engine was on and the dashboard was on and many things was on the bike. For this, even to myself, was not easy to understand, you know, because I was full, directly 0, trying to go left, putting the hand up,
Yeah.
the heat. Was not easy to understand because even I arrived to 10, 12, that is everything uphill, just burning the clutch, trying to go up because the bike was like... This is so difficult to understand even for the riders because we never have this problem. Also, I'm really grateful because I was in a really good team during the years and I have really 0 issues. I mean, my first race that I don't finish by the technical issue was last year Misano because we broke the chain.
That's a freak accident.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not even something the team can be responsible for.
Exactly. Even it's not a thing that you think about.
Yeah.
But okay, this is the first one in 5 years. For this, when you will think that this will happen to you in a race? For this is the reason that now thinking about with perspective, we are that close that we just believe that the bike in the front will not fail. You know?
Yeah.
And then it's true also that in motocross we can see with Kenny that many times that the bike failed, he crashed, but they are not really behind no one. They normally cross the lines and all these things.
It's so much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the bike failed. I mean, normally if the Supercross bike fail, the rider that is on top is the one that get the worst thing.
Result.
You know? But here at the end, we could see this weekend that even if I was fast to go to the left and put the hand up, we were that close that it's not time enough to react to both riders in the same time. For these things that happen that should not happen.
So how did Alex's crash look from your perspective?
Horrible. Not easy to see these crashes from the outside, but even worse, knowing that you was in the middle for any reason. I mean, it's true that it was not my fault, but at the end was the fault that my bike switched off. For this, I was in the middle, let's say. Really grateful that he have only one broke collarbone and one crack in the vertebra, let's say, because I think somebody go out from the sky and say, okay, today you will be okay.
Man, it was so scary.
I think that, like I say, should not happen. I mean, when you will think that somebody will crash in a straight. I mean, how fast we crash in corners and hitting the walls and nothing happened. You know, if Alex have the same injuries just making a high side, okay, we will say, okay, it's a big crash, but okay, the guy is okay. Blah, blah. The problem was everything that come in the same moment that he destroyed the bike. A wheel kick the Antonio out, then a radiator kick other guy. The bike was completely disappear.
It turned into dust.
Yeah, this is not anymore a bike.
Oh, no.
I mean, they will not be able to repeat this bike
No.
for this. When you will think that we will crash in a straight, it's like close to impossible to have this in mind, let's say.
Dude, and how lucky is Digi?
Dia is safe by something like this. You know,
And dude, that wasn't gonna be a broken collarbone.
no, this was gonna be serious. For this, we have to be really lucky that we only have one guy with one broke collarbone, and Zarco that is with a broke femur, let's say. But the problem that everything was many things together, you know? Was not only the crash. Was a crash, hitting other guy, going versus a wall, a restart, with 3 guys out and 1 between a swing arm and a seat unit, with 3 guys in the floor, with other restart. I mean, sometimes we don't have to, how we say in Spanish, we don't have to fight versus the destiny, you know? I mean, you have one horrendous crash already. I understand one restart. I mean, I'm the first one that understand that the show must go on.
Yeah.
But when you have the second one, I think it's the moment to stop and say, okay, I think it's enough. 3 guys in the second crash, other 3 in the first one because the Antonio and other guys crash also. It's not necessary to risk any more today. You know, for this, I hope that in the next couple of races we rethink everything.
So what could be done better in the restart situation? Do you think that the bikes are just too fast now to like where the start lines are?
No.
You don't think that's got anything to do with it? Is there anything that you could do different to make these situations safer on a restart?
I think the only thing that was really bad was the third start.
Okay.
You know, because I think it's not necessary also for the riders mentally.
Yes.
Are not easy to stop 2 times, seeing that things in TV and then sending them to race again. You know? About safety, I think the track was safety enough. The only problem that in my accident with Alex was many things together, let's say. Normally you don't crash in a start, in a straight. It's the only thing that you can change, because if you move the starting line, we will break more late. If you make us start without devices, we will break more late. I mean, it's not that you move the start line and you break in the same point. I mean, you always break as far as you can, as hard as you can, and if you have the possibility, you try to overtake. For this, it's not a matter that the bikes are so fast. At the end, the bikes and the physics have a limit, and we try to don't pass it. The problem that this race have many things together, you know?
So we look forward to next year, we get these regulation changes.
Yeah.
How do you feel about these?
I'm quite happy that we take out the rear devices and the start devices. This, I think, will make a really good step, because at the moment, the procedure to start a race is quite complicated, you know? And
So what do you have to do?
I mean, you make the warm-up lap, let's say,
Yep.
and you just arrive to the straight. You put neutral. I mean, you make like the last touch in the throttle to take a bit of speed. You put neutral. You take the front brake and a lever that, let's say, is in the right thumb, and you make a strong braking check, I will say, to put the front device, like in motocross, let's say. You put the front device. Okay, you arrive to your position. You stop. You activate the rear device that I have in this finger, let's say, like a lever. You put the launch control. The guy is still with the red flag here. And when he start to run away, let's say, you try to warm up the clutch a bit, like making like 5 or 3 times like this. You put the first, you wait until the red light start, and when you switch off, you start. But the problem that this you make it along is quite easy. But if the front tire is cold, it's easy to block in the straight. When you arrive to the end of the straight, again, you have to really brake hard to try to deactivate everything, you know? Sometimes you don't do it. For this, between corners, you still lock with the front, having chatter, and it's no way to take out this between corners, because even in Barcelona, you make them 1, 2, 3, everything in a row, super flow, and okay, then in 10-4, you do it. But you go with maybe 110 millimeters in the fork. I mean, this means no direction. When you have the front down, is like you cannot move the handlebar because make everything much difficult, let's say. For this, I think this will help a lot to everyone, even more for the rookies that come to the class. It will be super good. And also then the engine change will change not so much, I think.
Really?
At the end, if an engineer want to find power, will find the power. Somehow, you know. The bike will be lighter. The tires will be better or worse, but will be the same for everyone for this. I think the level of competition will be the same, you know. It's true that I think this will give a good opportunity to the Japanese brand to start from zero, everyone, and try to build a really good bikes, because I hope that Honda and Yamaha make a step back to where they were 6 or 7 years ago, because we need this brand. I mean, for the championship, it will be super good if we have 1 or 2 bikes really competitive in the top. The problem that now also MotoGP is super competitive because every team have a factory bike. I mean, my bike is exactly the same than Tektra bike. Honda factory is the same bike than Zarco have.
Yeah.
Ducati maybe have other 2 bikes. For this means that not only in the past, for example, you have Honda and Yamaha, the factory teams, 4 bikes. That's it. But now the problem that the level is coming.
Yeah.
Everyone is coming. Doesn't matter in what team you are. For this make everything more difficult.
So Martin thinks that this could be the era of the Japanese.
Okay.
Do you think that?
I think it's the best opportunity to come back. But I think minimum the first or 2 years, the European, in this case Aprilia and Ducati, will still have advantage, let's say.
What makes you think that?
They are that much in advantage now. First of all, they will have more time to develop the bike because they are in a...
They're already done with this one.
I mean, they are in that really good level now that they will not really need to improve the bike. Okay, maybe we can see now that Aprilia looks faster than Ducati. But Ducati win the last 3-4 championships. Leave one just to prepare the next generation. Will not be the end of the world, let's say. Maybe they understand how everything works better than the other ones. I mean, I don't imagine that only for the devices that we have, they are making the difference. It's something more. I mean, a bike are 2 tires, suspension, chassis, and these new things that we have. But I don't... It's something in the base of these bikes that are really well done, let's say, for this.
What do you think that is?
I don't know, being honest.
Just a little bit of magic.
I don't know. I mean, something... They understand how to put power in the ground or how to work with the tires. So in MotoGP are that many things that it's difficult to point only one, but what they do looks like they do super good because the domination of Ducati in the last couple of years was amazing. Then the domination that now Aprilia is showing is awesome also for this. They make something so good.
Okay, so who do you think wins the World Championship
this year? I will say Martin at the moment. He is taking easy. He was not coming to the first test of the year. He already make a back-to-back wins in Le Mans. he looks like he was struggling a lot, and at the end of the weekend, he was ready to win. At the moment, Martin, maybe he's not performing at his maximum level by his injuries, and maybe he's not so 100% ready, I will say. He have the bike. It's just a matter of time that he start to be a hammer.
And the Le Mans win was crazy.
I mean,
Bro, 8th on the grid, 7th on the grid.
and also in Sunday, he recovered like 6 seconds. I mean, with a standard bike, an average bike, you don't win from 7, and you don't recover 6 seconds. But also he make it even more difficult because he recover, I would say, X seconds to the same bike that he was riding. For this somehow means that he is making like this now in his personal performance.
Yeah.
For this looks like he's in the same level that, or in the same way that he was when he won his title with Ducati.
Yeah, it was promo. Yeah. So what about the aero? Are you happy that that's going to go away?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't imagine how much can change a bike there.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's black and white. It's like you have the bike, okay, you can do, I don't know, 39.7. You change the aero, and if for any reason you match, you go 1 second faster, like this. I mean, for this I say something the other brands understand that we don't, because it's crazy how much in advantage they were. If you see our from fairing, is the Ducati one. You know, arrive one moment that you have to copy, because if you try, don't work, arrive one moment that even the riders ask to copy things from the bikes.
Yeah.
You know, because we want to perform.
Yeah.
Because at the end, a brand have all the time of the world, but a rider don't have all the time. The career of a rider is really short. For this, we want perform now, not tomorrow, now. For this, they find something, because if not, this advantage that they have, I told you, it's not about power. I mean, from 300 something to 300 a bit more,
Yeah.
don't change.
Yeah.
Don't change. For this, something they find.
What does it feel like to ride with the aero?
The bike is just glued to the ground. The only problem that when you crash also with the same force to the ground, let's say. I mean, everything is so fine until you crash. When you crash, imagine that you go like 50 km per hour faster in a corner than without aero. For this means that you will crash faster.
Yeah.
But the bike is, even the front wings, let's say, when you have a wheelie, and normally in a street bike, you have the wheelie and then it's coming down and then maybe wheeling again. When you are wheeling with aero, feel like you lift the front from the ground and the bike make like...
Yeah, like it slams down.
Yeah. I mean, the force that these wings can do to the ground and is awesome. Even if you change we have a wing in the seat unit, and we have one that is so similar to a Formula One DRS, let's say. I remember that in the past I was riding with one that was just like
the
this.
first one on the gas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the same day, they let me try the first Formula One version that we have. That was even bigger. Was exactly the Formula One aero thing.
Really?
Yeah. Man, I remember arriving first corner all day, touching the brakes, sliding a bit, just flowing, then coming back. Man, they put me this. I was not able to even slide the rear of how much pressure this was doing to the ground. I mean, it was the first time in my life that I touched the brakes and the bike was straight. Straight. It was not a way to put the bike sideways. This is how much I feel that changed the aerodynamics. Then when you are in a optimal level, I imagine that don't change that much. But when you physically you can see a big change, wait, because in the bike will be the double.
Damn.
Yeah.
And so talk about the braking. So I think the strongest position you had on the track was turn one.
Yeah.
I feel like you were just out braking everybody, and the boys were trying to make a run, and you would see like they were setting it up, and you would every lap. What are you doing?
Being honest, the KTM is quite nice there. I mean, you can squeeze the brakes under the apex. The front is super stable. Now, being honest, I don't know if it's the bike characteristic. It's just that we are using wiping, the suspension. I don't really know, man. But this KTM, from first day I am on the bike, you cannot imagine how deep I can brake. Until the end. I mean, it's true that this make me crashing a lot also. but when something match,
Yeah.
man, it's the best feeling of the world.
Really?
Can arrive until the apex, handlebar can move, but you are there. You are there. You know this feeling of be surfing the limit? This is how I feel with the KTM in braking points.
So when we were talking about the window of the KTM overall, it's like a very small window for the bike, but you feel like you have a very big window on the front end.
Being honest, the front of the KTM is I can say maybe, the best front of the grid. If we talk about braking,
Yeah.
then turning and entering in the corner is other thing. But in my life, I brake that late with a bike. It's true that I don't try other one in MotoGP, but from day one, I mean, it's like take my strongest point that was braking, and the bike was helping even. For this was a match that even in my first year, in the first races, I was using a lot. And I was really able to break people that was clearly faster than me, but I was getting that much in the braking points that doesn't matter what match I was losing in acceleration, let's say.
Damn.
There I was not taking the clutch.
Really?
No.
What would happen if you did?
Sure, I don't stop. Sure.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
So you're excited for the new era of bikes with no aero, and do you think that that's going to bring more of like a Moto2 feel back to the class?
Yeah. I think we will be able to see maybe the talent of the riders a bit more, or the skills of the riders a bit more. At the moment, like I say, more and more the machines are taking important in the sport, like Formula One for this. Maybe this is what the championship are trying to take away. At the end, how fun is to see a comeback from the end of the grid? How much fun is to see overtakes? At the end, if a rider have the pace and make a gap, even the TV don't show to him for this. I think the sport need to be a bit more like 10 years ago. Overtake, even if it's less safe, but will be more because we will be slower, let's say, for this. I think the new era of MotoGP will help to everyone to show his capacities, let's say.
So who has the most capacity? Who are the riders that are going to benefit the most from this?
Well, at the moment, the ones that are winning. I mean, Marc will be back. Many guys will change the brand for this, again, new motivation, new tires. Beginning of the season will be, the faster will be the one that can adapt himself to everything new for this. Will be quite interesting to see what is going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be one of the more crazy seasons ever, and because of what you said too, that there's gonna be so many riders that change.
Quite interesting also for us.
Yeah, is it exciting for you to think about the future?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like close a chapter in one way, you know. People that are not happy with the teams will go away. The ones that Marco, that we already see that he signed with Aprilia, they will stay. For the Samba, in some points, the ones that stay will be able to adapt the new bike to make really a bike for them.
Yes.
For for what they need.
Yeah.
And the ones that change the brand have the chance to start a new chapter of his life and to everyone get motivation from there for this. Will be quite nice.
So, are you glad though that you got to ride these fucking spaceships?
Yeah. Would be funny.
But I mean, you've now got to ride these bikes at the craziest level. Where MotoGP is right now in terms of the machines is at the craziest level that it maybe will ever be. 1,000 cc's, devices for everything, aero everywhere. Like you got to ride the craziest shit that has ever been made on two wheels.
Yeah, sure. Will not be never ever a MotoGP like that one. Never ever. I mean, it's true that maybe for the spectator it will be, or it's the most boring era of MotoGP at the moment because you have less passes, less magic around. But we will never see something like that again.
Yeah, and that's where my head's at with this season. I just want to appreciate the freak show because it is an absolute freak show.
What make you? I mean, if you are like really on the motorcycle world and you understand the paces and the tire degradation and this and that, okay, you can see what means a good race. Like in the days that Lorenzo can make the race in 0-2. You know, this was amazing by numbers, but for the spectator, was quite boring. What made you stand up from the sofa when you see overtakes, when you see touches, when you see
Rossi versus Stoner?
Yeah, you remember this Laguna second race?
Yeah,
Man.
yeah.
Man. I mean, this is what MotoGP need now.
And
Not need more speed.
Yeah.
Nothing will change if we pass from 360 to 380. Faster races. Why we need to make the race under 35 minutes? What we need is show overtakes, even if the pace is slow. Doesn't matter. We need battles. Why Supercross is that funny? Imagine that everything is in a line and no one can pass. Will not be the same. And the show, I mean, let's say the risk and the difficult sport is still the same.
Yes.
But it's not the same. So this is what we need at the moment.
Yeah. No, it's so true. So with everything that you've already achieved at 22 and coming from a very average family and, you know, looking at a life of, you know, taking over the family business of being a fisherman, and so much in your life has changed. You're making a lot of money and you're a famous guy with all of this opportunity. But I mean, you're still living with your parents. You're still like, you've changed so much, but you haven't changed so much.
Life changed, but I think I don't change that much.
How does that feel?
Feel great. I mean, I'm happy to still with mom at home. I mean, at the end, I don't need to focus in anything. I just need to be focused in be a rider 24/7. That's it. I mean, also I'm really grateful that man accept this because it's not so easy. But things change because I have the car that I want. I can trade when I want with the people that I want, and I can go to have a dinner with the people that I want one per week, you know. But finally, don't change that much, you know. I'm still in the same hometown as always, going dinner with the same people as always, going train with the same people as always. For this, don't change that much.
So why do you think that? Because a lot of guys do change. A lot of guys get famous. A lot of guys, their lifestyle gets kind of crazy and flashy, and it just because that shit's fun, like, for sure. But why this path for you?
I still don't get it to what I want in life. For this, when I get it, I will still having a lot of time to enjoy, let's say. At the end, I remember first time I go to America, I see the F-150, the pickup.
Yeah.
And I say, man, this will be my first car. And then passes the years, and I could buy it. I mean, it's the car that I park outside today. I don't need anything else. I mean, I remember that when I get my first payment, because my first year in the championship, the one that I win, I ride close to be by free. I mean, I was not getting paid. I pay my flights and my hotels in my first season
Of Moto3.
on Moto3.
Yeah.
For this, I don't need anything else. I know how difficult it is to get things, and I remember the first time I get paid by bonus, I buy a Renault Master, a van to can go for train, because if not, I was not able even to go for train. For this, I don't need anything else. Also, I feel that I still having the same people around, and for this, I imagine that if your friends go in a Ferrari, I think at the end you will need a Ferrari to go with them. If my friends are still going with the van of the trainings to go dinner, I don't need anything else. I just go with them and enjoy.
Dude, it's so funny you said that about the F-150. So it's the same in Australia, right? So we didn't have those. My dream car was an F-150. And a couple of years ago in America, I moved back to America. I'm getting an F-150, bro. I'm on Facebook Marketplace. I'm not buying a brand new car.
Yeah.
I'm on Facebook Marketplace. 2018 F-150. I love that shape. Like that generation to me, I think is like such a sick shape of that car. 20 grand.
Boom.
Cash, baby. And I own myself a F-150.
Yeah.
I fucking love that car, bro.
Man, it's sick. It's sick. I mean, I went with people that have the Ferraris, the McLaren, doesn't matter what. You arrive with that car, I told to you, doesn't matter what car is in front of you, that they will watch you. I mean, I'm more in Spain that the roads are not so big.
Yeah.
Imagine how much I suffer to park this van. But man, it's huge. I mean, when I see myself, first of all, I remember to see the car and see, man, it's myself in a car. I mean, I'm that car. I go for it. I mean, you cannot imagine how much I suffer to homologate everything of this van here. Man, I love it.
Oh, dude, I love that. I got when I get home from this trip, I got some new Fox suspension because mine's just completely stock.
Okay.
So I got Fox, the 2.5 performance kit.
Okay.
I got some new Method wheels. I got some new Toyo tires. I got like because it's the older one, right?
Okay.
So I got this 14-inch Tesla screen.
Okay.
That you can put in it. There's a Alpine F150 speaker kit.
Okay.
This thing's going to be fucking sick, bro.
Yeah.
I'm never going to need another F-150. For years, bro, I'm going to keep this same truck.
I'm super happy with my one. I mean, the guy that sold me the car said, but you are happy with the van? I say, man, I don't buy the 150R because I don't have money enough to bring it from America and also maintain my one. But if not, boom. It's sick, buddy.
Dude, I love that.
Sick.
And just, that's, I think no matter how much money I have, I'm still going to get an F-150. I feel like I'm always going to own an F-150.
Man, I see the car and I see myself in the car. Then, okay, I see, like I say, I try Ferraris, I try McLarens. Okay, we will not be stupid. It's a nice car. But I don't see myself going to have lunch on that car.
Yeah.
But then I ride with my truck. Man.
I'm fucking right there with you, brother.
I start to sweat even.
I love that.
So I want to talk about something that no one really talks about. I'm in my mid-30s now, and a couple of years ago, I started noticing things just felt harder. Same workouts I'd always done, same diet, but I was lagging. Recovery took forever, energy was inconsistent, motivation wasn't there like it used to be. I just thought, all right, this is it. I'm getting older, I guess. But then I started looking into it, and here's what I found. Most men start losing testosterone at around 30. And about 1% every year after that. And it's not just that your body makes less, it's that a lot of what you do make gets locked up by this protein called SHBG. So even if you're producing testosterone, your body can't actually use it. It's like having money in the bank, but your card has been declined. That's when I found Marsman. It's designed to help free up that locked testosterone so your body can actually access it. No needles, no synthetics, just natural ingredients. Zinc, boron, vitamin D. Since I've been taking it, my energy has been way more consistent throughout the day. Not like a caffeine spike, just a steady drive. Recovery after training feels better. It's made in the USA. third-party tested, and they've got a 90-day money-back guarantee. So there's literally no risk. For a limited time only, our listeners get 60% off for life and 2 free gifts when you use the code GYPSYGANG at mengotomars.com. That's mengotomars.com. Code GYPSYGANG at checkout. And remember, let them know that the Gypsy Gang sent you.
So, how does it feel to be in a position to be able to help your family now?
Feels nice. At the end, my sister, before I started to work like my assistant, was working in one, let's say how I explain. She was like in a factory that they were putting the, let's say, the tomatoes in the boxes to send it to the supermarket, let's say. And I was talking about this before, and arrived one moment that my sister is 6 years older than me.
Yep.
To let you know. For this, the difference in ages when you are younger is massive because she's 18 and you are 12. For this, the plans that you can do together.
Yeah, it's not much, huh?
Yeah, it's not much.
She's a babysitter at that point.
Exactly. For this, arrived one moment that she was working there and I was not really seeing her, even living in the same house because she was working from 9-10 p.m. to 6-7 a.m. For this, the rest of the day was to rest, and the small time that was around was to stay with the friends and all these things. I understand. For this, arrived one moment that I was not seeing my sister, and when I was getting money in my second season in the championship in Moto2 already, I said to her, "Fuck, come with me. Better than being alone." Also, in this moment, I was traveling with my father. And my father get nervous so fast. For this, was making me a bit nervous also. For this, I say, come. And my sister was understanding about bikes, zero. But even she was not knowing the name of the fork in Spanish. You know? That is quite basic. For this, she started to come with me and these things. And man, now she's the angel that I have in my side, because I have to think about nothing, just to ride. The rest, she managed. To from knowing where I have to be in what day and why, to come with me to events, to just follow me in my trips, let's say. For this, it's not so easy to spend that many weeks during the year out of home. For this minimum, have something that will really give everything for you. It's a step, let's say.
And life's so short to have your sister working in a factory packing tomatoes. That you get one life, and you're in a position to be able to help her. Like, think about how much more that she's able to enjoy her life now because of this.
Man, now, okay, we have to be realistic also that the rest, his friends, have a normal life, let's say. But I never see my sister be able to do that many things. Or buy a house by himself or buy an apartment to rent. The good thing that she's making a life out of the bikes, And like I say, Miriam was like super good student, let's say. For this, now that she's understanding how to invest in houses and all these things, and she's doing also this for me, man, I'm super proud that she's able to do a life out of motorsport. Maybe if I will be alone there, I will not be that able because I just focus in what I like, being honest. But she, like human also, she make a big step.
Dude, that's so cool. I didn't know that.
No, yeah. At the end, when you are, now she's 28 and I will turn 22. Now the difference of ages is not
It's very similar.
Yeah. You can do many things together.
Yep.
You can travel together. In December, we go to New York because he turned 28 in January.
Yep.
For this, in December, we will go to New York, like his birthday present. Or I remember 23, she loved Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And in 23 was the moment that the Mario film go out. For this, we travel. I mean, we were in Argentina 1 week off, and then America. For this week off, we go to Universal Studio in LA.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
And we spent all the day to just go to fucking Mario attraction, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Did you drive the carts?
yeah, I mean, we spent all the day there, all the day. And I mean, it's also nice can see part of the world out of racing.
Yeah.
Having your sister that I think, I mean, will sound quite dramatic, but at the end, when your when your parents will go away, you will have the only person that will be with you will be your sister, you know, or your brother, whatever. For this is quite nice. Also, now that mom start to travel sometimes, when we go to this Asian round, that is Japan, Australia, and all these things, between weeks, mom and sister stay in Bali or in all these places. For this is also nice, be able to have proper time with your parents, you know?
Yeah. So what else are you into outside of MotoGP?
Is Batman, you mean?
So what other things are you, like, what else do you follow? Like, obviously you got Supercross and Motocross, but what other things like excite you outside of racing?
Being honest, nothing.
Fair.
I really like to make some, I will say excursion, but it's not like this, you know? I mean, you know who is Remy Gardner, right?
Who?
Remy Gardner.
Oh, Remy, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he have a Pajero. Okay? And we go to make some roads, let's say. And I don't know how we always fucked up with the road, you know? And this, I love it because I'm really close friend with Remy, and be able to spend a day just
fucking around.
yeah. I mean, this, I love it. But the rest, being honest, I'm really out of the normal life. I mean, I just like to go to have dinner with friends, some wine, some beers, split some G's, and then go back home, maybe in the morning.
You boys, dude, MotoGP boys have got it pretty good, to be honest, because there's no Supercross parties anymore.
No.
It's over. That era, done. When I first moved to America, 2010, boys were raging, bro. We were like, there was one, dude, Roxon, fucking loose.
Yeah.
Weapon. Dean Wilson, we there was one time at Motocross of Nations, Thursday night, we literally snuck him out the back of a hotel. Mitch Payton's sitting in the lobby in the bar having beers, and we're in the car pulled out the front, and you just see Dino like sneak behind Mitch and run out the safety exit out the back in the club all night. It's done. It's over. Nowadays, you go to a MotoGP, bro, Austin, we went to the after party. Half the fucking paddock was there, just wild. And I'm like, you boys still get to have a bit of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's like life should be. I mean, you know, in Austin, this piano bar.
Nah, where?
No, it's
No?
in the same street you were.
Oh.
Okay, it's a piano bar.
Yeah.
Man.
I've heard of it.
Man, I love it. I love it. It's true that in Europe it's more difficult, you know, because normally you fly back on Sunday night.
Yeah.
But you have to have some fun. I mean, it's okay to work hard, but also if I work hard, I play hard.
Yeah.
In the same level.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't receive a no like an answer.
Isn't that crazy? It's the best though. Because, dude, KTM, if you're a ride for Supercross,
Yeah.
KTM, shut down. That ain't happening.
I always think that if you make your work done, no one can say nothing. Also, I mean, I don't know if you know, my crew chief is a Kiwi.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
He goes hard.
Yeah. I mean, he go really hard.
That's unreal. But works hard.
Even more. The first thing he say to me, he say, if you give me 100%, I give you 120. But if you give me 80, I give you 0. I say, okay. I go for it. And when he go, in work or in life, man, man, I cannot follow him.
Dude.
Wah!
How good is that energy though to be around, to get to be around people like that?
Good.
Because I think like to get to MotoGP, whether you're a rider or in the garage,
Yeah.
you got to be a fucking G.
I think you need to connect with people.
Mm.
And I think, first of all, you have to have a good hangover with them.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, everyone, we are so professional in day one.
Yeah.
But sometimes you need to stop thinking work and then go, like I say, go to split some G's and just forget a bit about the job, you know. And there, finally, when you really connect personally with the people that you work, is when they will pass to give you 100 to give you 120, you know. But then you have to give it back for this. Start to be a professional relationship and maybe start to be a personal one. And no one will give more to you than the person that really like how you are.
Yeah, and there's nothing like a hangover, eh? Knowing that you were out all night and going hard.
Yeah.
And then you're just going through the
Until the
trenches
end.
the next day.
Until the end. And man, if you cannot more, you sit there and you stop until everyone stop. But you have to finish the night with everyone.
Respect.
And also, okay, I'm 21, but people like to have fun also.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one here.
Oh,
you know,
no.
You know, for this. Why not?
Dude, I love it. So what's going to be, what would satisfy you at the end of your career? Like when it's all said and done, what's going to be a good career for Pedro Acosta?
Have no question mark around.
And what does that mean?
Know why when I won, and why when I lose, I lose. Have no question mark. I mean, now, like I say, I have many question marks around. I need to really know why I'm not winning, you know, at the moment. For this, if when I finish my career, I have everything shorter, will be more than okay. Also, I really want to make the people understand who I am, I will say, or how Pedro Acosta is. Then if you like it, and if not, if not. But I hope to, in my career, really show to everyone every year the real person that I am.
Do you think you've been able to do that so far?
Yeah. I mean, I think Pedro is 95 in personality and 9 more professionally, let's say. It's true that always you have things that you cannot say. But the 95% of Pedro was really real in the 6 years that I am in the championship.
Yeah, have you been through enough back and forward and good and bad already in your career that you've kind of like accepted that some people are not going to like you and that a lot of people are going to like you?
The problem that will be like this, even if you don't understand.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you cannot make happy to everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like if I like your t-shirt or not. You cannot decide if I like it or not. But if you like it, you will go like this. Doesn't matter if like to anyone, you know, for this. I think I'm really happy with the human that I'm becoming. And like I say, I prefer to have 20 people around me that really know who I am and really meet me in person, because I think the person that people think that I am is not the one that I am. For this, if somebody meet me and then they don't like me, it's okay.
Yeah, fair.
It's more than fair.
Yeah.
But first of all, meet me and then you decide. You know, because I think in person, when you understand how I say the things and in what way, you really change your way of thinking, let's say.
Yeah, and so before when you were saying, like at the very start, I don't even think we were recording, but about the thing with Marc, right?
Yeah.
You sat here for 20 minutes saying how amazing Marc is. Like, that's what you really think.
Yeah.
And if somebody actually has a conversation with you about Marc, you could never draw the opinion that would make you be like, fuck Pedro Acosta, fuck this guy, and hate you over those things. But it's just so hard, like, for the average person to like get to have that conversation with you.
I mean, the problem also that is how to say in English, interpret, like how you get the things.
Yeah.
You know? Also now media is quite easy that they just take the title, let's say, and put Pedro say this. But if then you read the interview, you start to understand why I say some couple of things, you know? But the problem that when you read already the title, you don't read the interview for this. Many times, to not only to myself, I mean to many public people, happen this. But like I said, you cannot make happy to everyone for these things. Come like this. If they know me in person and then they don't like me or I don't like them, more than fair. But I hope that in my career, people really can see the person that I am.
I mean, I'm obviously biased because I'm here and I'm doing this and I like you and I've come into this conversation already liking you. But I don't know how you could sit here and listen to you talk about the sport and about your rivals and not think that you're pretty cool.
I mean, I just try to be like I am. I mean, mom and dad, I think they give me a good how to say in English?
Like a good base.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Then, like always, you have people that you hate more, people that you like more. But I think I become a good man after being that many years in the championship and maybe making laps around the world alone for this.
Yeah.
Maybe this make me grow up quite faster than normal.
Yeah, I'd say so. What do you think about the MotoGP media? Do you think that they're fair or is it... Okay, you smile, so it's probably not. Because I'm very detached from I want to get more into MotoGP and doing these podcasts, but I don't feel like this is media in the sense, because like I'm trying to just get you to tell your story. Dude, you want to talk about your fucking cat for 40 minutes? Go for it, brother. You know.
Media in MotoGP sometimes depend about the moment. Depend about the moment and how you express yourself. I mean, last year, like I say, at the beginning of the season, I was really an asshole, let's say. And what happened? When you are angry, the media put it a bit more. A bit more.
Yeah.
And finally, you know how is the world now that everything is managed by, by news in the phone. Everything is managed by the phone of the people, you know?
And it's like this.
And you get, the first thing you get in the eye is the thing that you get.
Yeah.
For this, it's quite difficult. It's true that I have to say that I think I have a good relationship with that. And even when I feel that I pass a bit the limit, I have confidence in a personality to go to people and say, man, come on, you can delete it. You can delete it because it's not necessary. For this, I'm quite grateful for that because, like I say, it's quite easy in a bad day to go a bit over the limit, just a bit. And this small thing is what will create a chaos, let's say. For this, I think everything people can see and not just read help much more to the sportman, let's say. You know, because at the end, if you can see my face and how the person is interacting and all these things, you can more or less understand the background, let's say. But sometimes when you read something, like I say, you only read the black letter, let's say.
Yeah.
This is quite more dangerous for the sportman, I think.
So what can make MotoGP better, do you think, as a fan of the sport?
First of all, the sport by himself. We need more battles, like we was talking before.
Yeah. Okay.
It's what will change everything. It's true that Formula One, let's say, changed a lot since the moment that the drivers was much more close to the fans. And I think this documentary of Netflix helped a lot to the people to understand, even to myself. Because if you are not really on the sport, it's quite difficult to understand the outcome. But at the moment, we need to improve the action on the track and then think about the rest, let's say.
Yeah, to like tell those stories.
Yeah.
So if you could do any other sport,
Yeah.
what would you do? Like, would you want to drive a Formula One car? Would you want to, like, what would be the bucket list things as a motorsport fan, a racing fan, that you would do?
I mean, I will not say ride in Supercross because I'm 97% that I will get hurt for this. It's not my idea. But maybe drive a rally car. This I would really like because I think also by starting to go sideways and putting the weight in the tires would be much, much better for me than drive a Formula One, I think. So, I don't know, Formula One feel like super clean, everything on point.
You want to get loose.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I want to feel to feel that nothing is under control. Just go.
Well, Rossi rips at that shit.
He's doing quite okay in the GTs, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Well, and he's done some rally stuff too, right?
This I'm not really sure. I think, but really small rallies, they say, let's say Monza, no?
Yeah, okay.
I'm not really sure, being honest, but I will love it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Did you after you broke your femur on the motocross bike, did that kind of scare you away from it at all?
I was 1 year and a half without doing motocross because I still having that, like the ping inside.
Yeah.
And was quite dangerous if I broke
If it
again.
bent it and broke, yeah.
For this, I was like 1 year and a half out. Then I take it out, and when they take out me the stitches,
Yeah.
I say, oh man, here we go again. I mean, there was a thing that mom and dad was at home. You are idiot, you will get hurt again. I say, okay, if I get hurt, just call the ambulance. I will be here. I mean, I love it, buddy.
Really?
Yeah.
So is that your favorite thing to do outside
Yeah.
of... Yeah.
I mean, I don't try to get better because I know that if you don't make it since you are young, it's much difficult to improve and also it's more easy to get hurt. But buddy, I love it. I love it.
Especially too when you start riding sand. I feel like that period of time where you start to try different types of terrains and then you start getting used to riding ruts or you start surfing the sand. Like, how good is the feeling of just the sand pushing away?
The good thing of the sand that you can go really flat out and you are not really in a high speed.
Yeah.
The problem when you go in a hard pack that with a 450, you put fourth gear. Man, this is a rocket ship.
Yeah.
But then in sand, you put third, you can do all the track in third if you are so bad like me. And you just don't think, you just go, you know?
Are you a geek with like building your bike to be pretty sick or do you just ride a stock one?
I have triple clamps, fork and shock, exhaust, clutch, and handlebar and the seat.
Yeah.
And I have a standard engine, let's say. I have this 450 factory edition from KTM.
Yeah. That's sick, eh?
Yeah.
It's pretty insane how good a 450 is stock nowadays. Well, the factory edition stock.
Yeah. The factory edition from any brand are really good. Really good. For this, I'm really happy with my one. I was really loving, I mean, before I have a two-stroke 125 carburation, 2021 from KTM. This was sick. I mean, I have but I have ECU, triple clamp, fork, shock, exhaust, carburetor, the top of the engine, how you call it?
The head.
The head, the piston. I mean, this bike was the one that I get hurt From that day, I don't ride anymore that bike. But man, this is just huge. Love it.
They are sick.
Yeah.
Have you got to ride in America anywhere on the
No.
motocross?
No.
Oh,
I go one day to Grand Helen
yeah.
to check it out. But it was exactly when I have already still the P9. For this, I was not really, I was not really wanted to get the wrist, let's say.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
no, not at the moment.
Are you going to do it?
Yeah, but the problem that the jumps are huge.
Not at Glen Helen.
Yeah, I mean, around America.
Yeah.
You go to Red Bud,
No, I haven't been there yet.
I mean, these jumps are huge.
Dude, have you seen the video of Jet? Where he just like dips the front
Yeah,
at motocross
bruh.
and 8? Oh, so sick,
Yeah.
bro. Dude, you would love some of the tracks in California though.
Yeah.
Like Cahir Creek, have you ever seen that
No.
track? Dude, and the cool thing about riding in California is they've got a lot of vet tracks.
Okay.
So you can go to Glen Helen and you can ride the main track, which is fucking gnarly.
Okay.
Or you can go to the vet track, which is not ripped as deep. It's like slower
Okay.
guys, but still so much fun. And there's a vet track at Cahir Creek.
Okay.
Bro, so much fun. So much fun. It's just the most hero dirt, right, like all the jumps are just like easy,
Okay.
but still there's a couple that are like big enough to be fun.
Okay.
Dude, that's where you need to go. It's
Okay.
like kind of loose, gravelly sort of soil. But yeah, you should try and get out there and ride.
We make a deal that next year we go. If I have a free week between, we go.
Dude, I would take you riding in a heartbeat out there, bro.
Okay.
KTM will ride out, bring bikes, like you'll be completely dialed in. But dude, it'll be so much fun.
Okay.
Dude, this was so much fun.
No, I get the fun today, buddy. I was really grateful to be here.
Yeah, no, I'm stoked that you're here. I'm like I said, I'm a massive fan. I'd love to try and do a little bit more in the MotoGP world because I just think that you guys are some of the best athletes in the world. And I mean, I spend a living going to races and traveling around, and what you guys can do on a motorcycle is just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. But
Thank you,
somehow
buddy.
you guys make it happen. And yeah, I hope that more people can understand more about you, who you are, and can be Pedro Acosta fans after this.
Thank you, buddy. I mean, I have a lot of fun today for this. So happy to be here.
Well, hey, let's have a ride next year in Austin.
Yeah.
When you come for Austin, and we'll do this again. Maybe after you win a world championship in MotoGP.
Why not?
We'll do a season breakdown of it, and it'll be good.
We make this deal.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, buddy.
My knees.
My ass was fucking glued to this chair, buddy. What? Buddy,
Amazing, bro.
so grateful.
You're a
How,
legend.
how long we stay?
Dude, 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck me, 3 hours talking English. This is amazing. Anyway, thank you, boys.
See you, brother.
Enjoy.
Oh, what a man, eh? What a man. Pedro Acosta, ladies and gentlemen.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.